I was a little kid, so you know, I could be chilling on the porch with them at the gas station.
Looks like we should be live.
Let's see.
That's the only thing they use a kid on the games.
Yep, we're live.
I used to have
There's always going to be a little bit of lag.
Well, there's delays.
Yeah.
Okay, you can kind of hear us.
Hear us? Well, the microphone's right here, so
Yeah.
let's see.
When I was beating up the homeboy in the month,
So it's excellent connection.
Yeah, that's good.
The Backwoods Engineer. I love that name.
Hello, person.
It's, well, Backwoods Engineer.
Oh,
So, we've only got, we got one like, 4 comments. Wait. Oh, wait.
that's current viewers.
Current viewers. Oh,
And
okay.
one like.
For some reason, okay, I see.
There you go.
Oh, happy Saturday, everybody. Hope everyone's enjoying it. For us, it was a work day, obviously. But, yeah, Jenell and I over here at a cigar lounge. It's called Stanley Pappas Tobaccos. Or Stanley Pappas Cigars. Sorry, Mr. Stanley. But he's not here today, so it's okay. It's a few doors down from our shop, about 4 doors down, roughly. 4 or 5, and we like to come out here on Saturdays and just kind of enjoy a cigar, basically, and just hang out with everybody here. You can hear a bunch of noise in the background. We're in the back area recording, and yeah, so
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us clearly. It is a little bit loud in here, but
yeah, we've got
just
a
in
mic
case.
here,
Yeah.
so Mr. Backwoods Engineer, how are you doing?
It's a little bit of. It's okay.
Are you liking that CAD or CAO?
Last one.
Yeah.
I've been saving it for 2 weeks.
Ah, nice. I ended up getting one of those sample packs where they had like the Brazilian one in there also, and Nicaraguan, and a few others. I look like an Italian boss with that cigar. Thank you, Zip-lipping, I can't say that. But thank you. Thank you. I just need a better suit and everything, and you know, just yeah. I got my fedora. It's
Oh
in
yeah,
my
you did.
car.
You forgot your.
Way better. than
And you have your
just-
sunglasses on.
Lost again. You
Oh.
guys don't see me on here? Something wrong with it?
Let's check.
We walking and talking.
I have to refresh it. There might be connection.
Huh?
Connection. No, that's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just keep the chats here so I don't have to look over it.
Yeah. Well, we got connection here. So,
Yeah, the resolution might be a little bit low, but other than that, you guys
oh,
can see
UK
us.
Wildcats lost again.
Oh,
I'm guessing that's lost, not list again, but okay. I don't know what you were talking about there for a second. Anyways, everyone, so I was trying to do a live stream at the shop all week. However, it just was not working out. It ended up being a chaotic week, basically, and yeah, I
you should tell them about the door.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
But I had a buddy of mine who borrowed my trailer. He's moving, and I helped him move last weekend. And then this week he asked if he could borrow to move a couch that he found for his new place. And I had to go do some deliveries to Steve Madden. We do all their warranty repairs, so free bid by Steve Madden, giving them a shout out. But I was doing deliveries there, and on the way back, I get a phone call from my buddy. He's like, so I dented your door. And I'm like, okay, well, does it still close? He's like, you'll have to take a look at it. Well, I show up, trailer's there, but he had to run. He's an attorney, and he had to go see a client, and the door was just, it was done for. I mean, it was twisted and everything. I'm like, oh, come on. I can't, in other words, I can't catch a break, and it was just like one thing after another constantly. So that was kind of why I didn't get a chance to do a live stream at the shop or anything all week. But I thought if you guys and gals would like to join us for a little Q&A session with some cigars, we got some Scotch here. Scotch. That is a blended Scotch.
Whatever you say. It is a Scotch.
I know my drink. I don't drink often, but when I do, typically it's with a cigar and in good company as well.
Yep.
Cheers. Cheers to all of you who may be enjoying your Saturday evening. But yeah, that's basically how my week went. So, for those of you who don't know, this is Jenell. She does all of our patchwork, our stitch work, and like zipper replacements, belt repairs, bags, jackets.
I'm the girl you see in the background occasionally, so.
Yeah, you see her in my videos in the background usually, because our table kind of divides our sections there, and she does she does all the patchwork for us basically. This is my little sister, for those of you who don't know.
Got some.
Thanks from Maine. Thank you, 44 Musher. Yep, that's what it says. Happy Saturday, 44 Musher.
Happy Saturday.
Oh yeah, so she's the girl that's in the background. She does have a few of her own YouTube channels. Damn, I only took like 2 sips so far. I'm
You
not
get kicked in.
No, I'm finally relaxed. But yeah, she has her own YouTube channels also that she's working on. Told her to start posting some on our channel here for the shop, but she wants to be that black sheep of the family.
No.
No, she's not. If anything, she's the good one. But yeah, she's got her own YouTube
How do you
channels.
know?
No comment.
Yeah, no, I'm usually at the shop twice a week. I do have another job that I go to, so I wish I could be at the shop full time and helping make the videos and creating other content for the shop, but unfortunately, that's not possible at the moment. So
Yeah. Juan, I think we were messaging on email, and I got a little delayed on my emails. I don't know if you heard earlier, if you just got on, but I had a bit of an issue with. Can you turn on the camera? I think I just turned off.
yeah,
I'm sure you guys could still hear me. I think my camera just disconnected. There you go.
I don't know if it's on this still.
Yep, it's on now. Hey there.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
You set up a commercial?
We're live streaming.
Pardon me?
Live streaming.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Are you advertising your store down there? or-
Yeah. Out here and our shop.
You guys are good guys, so I've had my shoes worked out there.
We appreciate it. Yeah. All right.
And you got, well, you
Yeah.
gotta have something to wet the whistle a little bit since you're live screaming.
Absolutely. Yeah. But Dale's a good guy here. He joins us sometimes. He's a regular here at the Cigar Lounge. He brings his puppy in.
Hello,
But
Anthony.
hello, Anthony. And sorry, got distracted by that gentleman walking past. But one, yeah, so gray is a very tough color, extremely tough when it comes to souls of any kind. Most everybody just does black, brown, sometimes white. It's kind of a standard color, but I'm actually checking in to see so I can respond to you. I still have your email marked down so that I can respond to you, but I'm trying to find out from a few suppliers for something that might be gray and may work for you.
Okay, do you want me to read the other one?
I've got them
Got
here.
it.
Paul, cheers, Paul. Let's see. Anthony, hello. Question from a Canadian to a couple of Coloradans. What soles and uppers would you recommend for rainy summer days? Well, for rain, I like oiled leather. Definitely a bit more, so kind of like that rough out because the fats and the oils in the leather will actually help protect it very well. All right, you
as
too.
well.
All right. But I like oiled leathers, and then as far as the sole goes, it's really a personal preference. If you want something a bit dressier, more low profile, the Day Night and Vibram Eaton sole, which I didn't get a chance to post a video last week, and I don't know about this weekend either. I apologize. And that door issue in my shop ended up delaying me. So, but if you want something a little heftier, there are other Vibram soles that I would recommend. You can always do a combination style sole if you still want it to be a bit more on the dressy side, so like a leather full sole with a rubber protective sole. There's a lot of options, but my personal favorite is oiled leather. CXL or Chrome XL leather is definitely, it's very easy to take care of and maintain. If you get a scuff on there, just take your finger and rub it. You can even lick your finger and rub it if you gotta look presentable and you accidentally scuffed it. Otherwise, basic maintenance. Once every couple of weeks, put a little bit of either Boo Buzz on there, which you can find on our website, or if you already have some, that stuff is awesome. Or Saphir Oiled Cream, also known as Greasy Cream, which is awesome. Alright. But hopefully that answers your question. As far as brands go, starting area, I would start, if you got a price point that you have, let's say $200 range or something, Thursday Boot Company would be my recommendation. You'll have to probably replace the sole a little sooner, but once you do replace the sole, the options are kind of limitless, in other words. So definitely check that out. Dr. Soul, we do not sell Dr. Soul, unfortunately, so it's one of those things that I may want to check into, so I just don't carry them yet at the moment. But you might want to check out Wolf. He's on Facebook. Who was it? Republic Shoes, I believe. I think he's got the Dr. Soul line, but he doesn't have everything. Definitely an awesome brand. I'm hoping to eventually bring it in. Wolf is kind of our North American contact for that brand, but he's wanting a little too much for those soles, unfortunately. So that's my dilemma, and other Cobblers' dilemmas is why they're not bringing it in. The Wolf kind of sets the prices at the moment for them, and they're just way too high. They're averaging about anywhere between 2 to almost 4 times as much as what other brands are comparable to. So if we were to use Dr. Soul, we'd have to charge a fair amount unless we start ordering direct, and I haven't gotten around to that quite yet. So Jenell, tell everybody how it is you're liking working at the shop.
It's an adventure almost all the time. I don't know how to explain it to where every time I go to the shop, there's always something new to talk about. And, I've known my brother ever since I was born, so even with him, it's just different conversations all the time with our other worker there. It's always interesting.
He's our partner.
Partner, yes.
A lot of people
partner,
know
worker.
Marcus. He's our partner. Marcus is a partner of Cobblers Plus. If you don't know, he's got his own. Facebook page and Instagram and everything. So give him some love and attention. Marcus Shines Kicks, I believe it was. But yeah, give him some love. But real quick, I want to interrupt you. Let's see. Zepla, the guy with the Z for the logo. Okay. Oiled leather brands, I would recommend for the price point, kind of going up in range. Thursday Boot Company, about $200 on average. Go up to Allen Edmonds after that. That's kind of one of those, I'd say, maybe about between $300 to $400 range roughly. I know some of you are like anti-Allen Edmonds because they've been having quality control issues, but for that price point, don't be complaining. I just got to put that out there. And then above from that, my go-to would definitely be Alden. I love the Alden Indie boot. That is a phenomenal boot. A little on the pricier side, but well worth it. I've had pairs come through that were awesome. Let's see. Jenell spelling. Same way as you spelt it, but without the E. I've seen you working on boots, jackets, and bags. What items do you like working on the most?
That can be a hard one. It depends on what needs to be done with an item specifically. I think. I don't know.
Let me put it this way. She does a lot of the weird odds and ends.
Yeah.
My side with the soles and heels, I do a number of things simultaneously. So I glue up, let's say, 10 pairs. I stick 10 pairs together most of the time, but they're all like little different things. Most of her projects, they are concentrated on that one item for an extended period of time. They take a lot more time. Like currently, she's been putting together a custom leather jacket made out of navy blue eel skin, which is really cool. She worked on other boots. Right now, she's working on a plastic high heel see-through boot where she has to shorten down the shaft area for the lady. And the lady was like, "I don't think you guys can do this, but I thought I'd check." We get a lot of that weird stuff in. Not only me that does weird stuff, like if you watch other cobblers, you've seen that they typically stay in the category of either Western boots, work boots, or dress shoes. Here in Colorado, it's a very diverse state, so we have all of that coming through and then some. So, I mean, I can't really speak for her, but I think because how she's stuck on working on one thing at a time, she either likes the really big projects or just get through a bunch of the small ones. Depends on her mood, I guess.
Well, one of the things I actually do enjoy, and I find this as relaxing, is actually changing the zippers in boots or even jackets. It's something where I do it. I've done it multiple times already working at the shop, to where it's like it's just kind of relaxing. I know what I'm doing. I know how to get through it and just get it done and out of the way. The ones I don't like are probably the dog chews, and I've been getting so many dog chews that it's just a nightmare. I mean, some are pretty easy to do. I've had a pair of shoes that had like the foam kind of chewed out. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel about it. It's a pair of pink shoes, and that one was pretty fun to do, surprisingly. I think it was also because it was for a video and it was pretty easy to do. But then there's ones where, you know, the dog would get through a pair of boots where they chew the actual leather, which is much harder for me to do because I need to pretty much recreate that non-existent piece that the dog chewed out. So for me, that's a little bit, I guess, tedious and annoying to do, but it, like he said, it kind of depends what the project is. I do get a lot of big projects. I rarely get, you know, needing to change an elastic on a pair of high heels, or, you know, just like those little small stuff. I don't get it as often anymore. Sometimes I wish I do, but I do the repairs for Freebird, which kind of helps with that. If I want to do something small, then I have those Freebird repairs that I have to do, and it kind of eases me into the much bigger projects.
So Brad asked, I've got some leather boots. What's the best way to clean up the scuffs on the toes? First things first, Brad, we do have to know what kind of leather it is. Is it smooth leather? So is it smooth leather? Is it oiled leather? Is it a nubuck as well? Is it an exotic type of skin as well, such as shell cordon, which is technically still considered an exotic skin, or any other type? Different skin will be very different as far as treatment goes. If it's your standard, you know, finished grain leather, again, that will vary significantly if it's a corrected grain leather or if it's full grain leather. Pictures will help significantly. If you want to shoot us an email with it, I would recommend contacting Marcus. Huh?
It's this kind of leather.
Oh, you're the Brad on the.
Oh my gosh.
So it's Brad from the Cigar Lounge. I was like,
Say hi.
I got it.
oh man. Okay, I was over explaining. I think I could have just came over here.
Yeah, we come here almost every Saturday. Could have asked any other Saturday.
Okay. Let's see. Important question. Let's see. Cosmic Blade. Because I just bought a moose leather boot. really cool. What shoe tree should I buy? Woodlore makes an awesome shoe tree, definitely. For the price point, I personally like the Rochesters. That's why we carry them at our shop. They treat their cedar just a little bit better. They do cost a little more than the average one. And it's not a big enough company where they promote themselves. Woodlore was bought up by Edmonds, which is actually now owned by Cobblers, which is a holdings company. So long story short, it's owned by a bunch of shareholders, in other words. So they try to make things cheaper. Rochester is still concentrated on doing proper care and maintenance. Look for a shoe tree that has a wider heel, nothing too narrow. Especially with softer leathers and something that has more stretch. Goat skin, lamb, deer skin, moose, camel even. They have a tendency to have a bit of a softer fiber structure, so you want to have a wider heel. And at the toe, make sure it's a split toe. So that means that the toe box area, the part of the shoe tree has a spring load in it that it moves back and forth. Definitely look for that in your shoe trees. Let's see, Jenell, what's your YouTube channel? So I was about to try to say that.
Yeah, so it's capital J, capital T, and then it's Leather Crafter. I don't have a profile picture yet. I haven't had a chance to put one as my profile picture, so right now it's just blank. But you will see I have videos where it's those pink shoes with the dog chew. I've also put a jiu-jitsu gi into a leather jacket for one of my coaches. The liner kind of underneath the armpits was ripping, and he was asking if I could change it out for him. And so, I told him I could do it, and then he had that bright idea of putting a gi into his jacket, and he said if that's even possible. And I told him I accept the challenge, so... Yeah, but I try and I try and pick my projects that I want to post on my YouTube channel, just because it's either fun for me or I don't know. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, let's see. Kazubs and Kazubs, can you put a thin sole on the bottom of the Vans or Converse for better grip and cushion? Yes, we can definitely do that. Typically, if you've got one of the white soled ones, which is most common, that's the difficulty. Like my personal favorite sole that's kind of thin is the GTO crosshatch. We use that in a lot of our half sole options over top of the leather one. But there's a few options that we have that will work great that are white. Now for the cushion aspect, you won't feel it because that's a thick rubber sole that Vans and Converses have, and they have a layer of cushion inside of it because it's hollow and they put the cushion inside. So it's a little difficult to add any more cushion or any comfortability to it basically through just adding some grip. But grip can definitely be taken care of. There goes the camera again. Can you push the side button? It's the side button you push. Sorry guys, camera overheats. I do have a little fan facing right at it, so it's a good old GoPros, but thankfully the microphone is separate. So
I don't know, is it working?
yeah, it'll be on the side. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
But apologies for the technical difficulties. Hopefully everyone still hears us just fine. Let's see, Cosmic Blade. Yes, I was actually just looking that up to shoot you a link. Except for Woodlore has a bunch of ads popping up for me. So there are two from Woodlore that are awesome. That look great. First one. And we have a version that's similar to this one with just a little bit more treatment. Let me put that in the comments section for you. So there's one, and that one is the one that I prefer first because it's a little bit wider fit all around. And then the second one for you is the next comment. There we go. So those are the Woodlore ones. The Rochester ones, I don't think Rochester retails on their website quite yet. We don't have our Rochester shoe trees up on our website quite yet. There's a lot of stuff we're in the middle of doing. So if you do want some Rochester shoe trees from us, shoot me an email. I can create a special order through our website if you want. and we can get those to you. Just let me know what size you need, and through the website when I send you the link to the order or whatever, I'll have you'll fill out all your information at that point as far as shipping and all that kind of stuff, and the weight will be calculated through the website. One thing I do want to mention to everybody: if you're wanting to send us any kind of repairs, please do go through the website first. We do have a number of the services and a lot of the products listed on there that we currently have in stock. Our Saphir product order is a little bit low right now because after COVID, there's a lot of stuff going on. In other words, so just wanted to mention that to everybody. But please do order the products and services through the website. It makes it a lot easier on our end for tracking the order, for return shipping, payments, and all that kind of stuff. If there's additional details and information, you'll receive a PDF form that you place into the box when you ship a repair order to us. And if there's notes, you can just put it down. In worst case scenario, we can always shoot you an email or give you a call as well. I just wanted to throw that out there. One other thing, obviously we're over at the Cigar Lounge, and I'm not even having my cigar right now. It's already dead. So apologies for the noise and everything. Let's see. All right. Have you ever
You can show it.
reapplied wax on waxed flesh boots?
There's that comment.
Talking about this one from Jared?
No, the lower one.
I'm a size 14 with
You
a...
can press the show button.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
It's probably because he
Oh.
used the... Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
There we go.
Hang on, Cosmic Blade, I'll get to you in just a second. Let me get Jeremy. Have you ever reapplied wax on waxed flesh boots? What's a good product for that? Honestly, and this is completely honestly, as far as products go, most of these products out there, they have other added ingredients, mink oil, lanolin, neatsfoot oil. So you'll change the appearance drastically. Now, if you want to reapply wax, quite honestly, I would take just a regular candle, regular unscented, white. White is preferable, not a colored one, and just start rubbing it onto the boot. If you want to look a little bit more smoother and everything, you can use a blow dryer or a heat gun. That'll work as well, but it will change the appearance a little bit. My recommendation: always test it on the inside arch area of the shoe and see how it looks. But quite honestly, if it's a waxy finish, candle wax, just literally rubbing it on will work phenomenally. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Cosmic Blade. Let's see. You're a size 14 with a first boot. It's technically a width of a E, so she chooses support it. Live stream. Yeah. So Cosmic Blade. So definitely use the link for the first model of shoe tree. If they do make a 14 for you, those are going to be a little bit better, wider fit. Otherwise, again, shoot me an email if so, and I can look into it and see if they have one that will match your size. You can email us at Cobblers, COBBLERS @gmail.com. Right now I'm a little bit backed up on my emails, and my wife's been helping me with it, Cassie, who's not here today, but she's been helping me with the emails, and she'll just kind of nudge me and be like, hey, get back to this guy, and I'll respond. I'm like the sleepy cobbler, basically. I'm like just fixing shoes, and there's an email. And somebody has to nudge me every now and then. So, yeah. I'm also curious of what Jeremy asked. Let's see. Yeah, so hopefully that answered your question. You guys are the bomb. Love watching your videos. Thank you very much, good sir. Or ma'am. Sky's Random Channel. Okay. Thanks for the tip. Shout out from the Thursday Boot Enthusiast Facebook page. Dropped a link to the stream there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thursday Boot Enthusiast page. Actually, you guys, I'm one of the original creators of it, so thank you. Thursday Boot Enthusiast on Facebook. Sunny U out at Metro Cobblers, where they just relocated. Check out Sonny. He's an awesome cobbler. They just relocated their shop. They just had a baby as well. Give him some love and attention. You can check him out, Cobbler Sonny. We were the original admins in the group that we got together. Sonny and I, obviously, we haven't been as active as we should be in the group, but we apologize on behalf of us, just because obviously Sonny just had his newborn and I just had a newborn last year. Life has been chaotic on top of what's
I'm
been
also
going on.
part of the group. I just
You're not
just
an
look
admin,
at
though.
the posts.
Yeah.
Well, I look at the posts. And by the way, shout out to our mom because she's watching us right now. So hello.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Yeah, mom's watching.
She doesn't like the fact that I introduced my little sister to cigars and whiskey.
At least I'm not doing other bad things.
True. Don't say it on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, but give our mom a shout out. I guess.
Yeah. I have a question for you, actually.
For me.
So it's just, I don't know, but what do you want to do in the future for the business? What do you see us doing more for this business from where we are now to where you want to be?
So I have a number of plans, I guess, for the business that I'd like to get going. Obviously, last year our goal was to get our website up and running. That has been working successfully, thankfully. We don't have everything listed on there because there are literally thousands of different options, variants, and products.
Especially on my end too. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
with like the little like
the stitch
repairs.
work and
Yeah.
rips, those are huge, endless like possibilities.
Oh yeah.
But that's one thing. This year we're actually trying to concentrate a little bit more on our local scene here in Denver. So that doesn't mean I'm not taking in orders or shipments from anyone. And I just need to concentrate on promoting us a little bit more here because a number of shops are closed down or getting ready to close down. So I do have to try to get our name out there a little bit locally. But that's for this year. Next year, we'll see how it goes. We don't know because our lease is up in April here, and we've been having some issues with the landlords, obviously, still are. And we don't know once our lease is up if, one, they'll re-sign with us, and two, if they do, last year they were claiming that our rent is supposed to be going up by double or more than that, and that's just not practical. So we'll see. All I can do is go as we can. For now, I'm trying to concentrate on getting back on track with posting on YouTube for all of you on here. We appreciate it. We're at over 6,000 subscribers, which is awesome. But yeah, that's it's still a mystery, honestly.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes after 2020 struck.
We definitely want to do more, and so do I. Like I said, I definitely want to be at the shop full time. But with everything, especially like the whole COVID and all of that going on, it can be kind of hard. So it's a live stream. Yeah.
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 Let's see. Cosmic Blade again. Have you used Smith's Leather Balm, and can you compare it to Cobbler's Choice? So Smith's I have not used honestly quite yet. Cobbler's Choice I have. Thursday Boot Company sent me out a little care package. I should have wore their hat. They actually sent me out a hat, which is awesome, and a sticker. I think I put my sticker on Big Bertha, my workbench. I call her Big Bertha. But Cobbler's Choice is good. It's good for the person who's just starting out in shoe care and for basic treatment. If you need something more extensive or you need more like detailed type of products, like Saphir for example, they make products for different types of leather, skins, and a variety of different things, and you have to be very particular about what you get from them. It's not a beginner level product, excluding the Renovatoire or the lotion or Universal Cream and Repton. Those are kind of on the basic side, but when you start getting into the more finer stuff, Saphir is your higher grade choice. Cobbler's Choice is kind of a more generic option, which works great. Using all natural products. I did test them out side by side with a number of other products and stuff. They're not my go-to as a professional in the industry. They're not our go-to for Marcus. They're not our go-to for Jenell or anyone. Obviously, we're professionals. We have to use the proper product for each individual type of skin and each category and stuff. So Cobbler's Choice is great if it's for your care package that you're traveling or something, just to take care of your shoes quickly, or if you're just starting out. Definitely a good pick. But Smith's, I've heard a lot of great things, but I haven't had a chance to try it out. I should probably check with my local suppliers to see if they have it. If not, I'll probably try to order some. Are your parents cobblers too? So our father's a cobbler. Our shops are not affiliated anymore. A lot of family issues, I guess, and also our paths for business and everything is very different. He leans towards orthopedics and retail a little bit more, and repairs is kind of like
Just like the side.
It's a side
hustle.
thing for him,
Yeah.
so he does not use JR leather day night. He doesn't want to strive for that. Where I do, I drop the retail side and the orthopedics in order to concentrate on the repairs. I still do like orthopedic lifts when somebody has one leg shorter than the other, because we work with chiropractors and other licensed orthopedists.
Yeah,
my father does it. Our mother is originally a seamstress. She is retired now because she was diagnosed with MS a few years back, and our parents are separated at this point. But
yeah, my mom. So again, shout out to my mom. She does help me with the work as well.
Yeah.
Since I'm only there 2 days a week, she comes in on the days that I'm in, and she asks me, "Hey, do you need help?" And I'm like, "Yes, like I have so much to do." So, she helps me out a lot with as much as she can, and
yeah, she comes in with her puppy and hangs out at the shop.
a
She enjoys hanging out.
golden doodle.
She just listens into me and Marcus kind of just blabbering away all day, and every now and then chimes in.
Yeah.
And if she cracks a joke, me and Marcus are standing there, we're like, "What? That came out
That
of
kid,
her?"
what? Oh,
But she enjoys it. It seems like we got her sewing machines in, so she does a little bit of like her own clothing and does some little side things here and there, keep herself busy and stuff. So she enjoys it.
Yeah. So it runs in the family pretty much. So we've been around it for a very long time.
It's 10 times worse than cigars and cigs and cigs. I'm guessing cigars and cigarettes are more dangerous than cigars
with all the
Oh, okay.
additives.
So yes, well, I do have a couple of hookahs at my house, just to let you know. I haven't touched them in years. The hookahs, the one thing is that they do, it depends on the grade of the shisha is what it's called. If you get the better stuff, you're better off with that, and it filters through the water. Cigars are not bad for a few reasons. This is out of my technically expertise. This is my hobby thing. Cigars are one of those things. It is a natural tobacco, so there's no additives in there. And the other thing is, majority of people don't actually inhale it into the lungs. I do have a habit of inhaling maybe every half to maybe 3 times I hit the cigar. Half the time I usually do, and half the time it's just for the flavor. So I thought I'd just mention that for you guys. I do love my cigars, and I do like whiskey. I had to stay away from beer. As you can tell, I got the dad bod.
Yeah, and you'll read the next comment. That's why I started laughing. Not the next, but it's
what we say is your favorite brand and style of boots. Wait, comment.
So it's the last comment.
Okay, I'll get to
to
your
it
comments
eventually,
in a
but I
second.
laughed
I gotta
at
take
it.
them in order.
Yeah, I laughed at it too,
The
by the
Sky's
way.
Random Channel. Okay.
And it turned off.
Yeah.
There it goes again.
It's still going, you guys. You can probably hear us. But what would you say is your favorite brand and style of boot? Also, least favorite. Least favorite, hands down, if you start getting into the Bostonians, Haans, those kind. I hate them. I'm sorry. Oh, and Aldo. I can't stand Aldo. I can't stand it. No more Aldos, guys. Come on. I get them in every now and then. Rarely, though. Rarely.
Yeah.
But
I don't like to deal with them either.
But let's go back to favorites. Carmina is a great one. If you want to be a little more fashionable, Justin Fitzpatrick makes an awesome one. Shout out to Justin and Carmina. Jay Fitzpatrick, check him out. He's actually the creator of the shoesnotblog.com, and he provided the photo that we have in Ferrari of Denver for that full page that we have with them. and then also Thursday Boot Company for the price point is awesome. Red Wing, I love those. Danners are awesome. Thoroughgoods is the issue with Thoroughgoods I have is with the plastic welt. Unfortunately, if you get into the Western boots, Lucchese is definitely my favorite. I was the original creator of the Lucchese enthusiast page on Facebook, so join that group. I'm not very active on there. Chris Gunsully, who's awesome at custom patina jobs, has been running that group. He's been doing awesome, so give Chris a shout out. He does amazing work, and thank you, Chris, if you ever see this. You've been helping so much when my head is somewhere else with the groups. And then another one for Western Boots, Tacova is definitely awesome. For the price point especially, they're a great one. There's a group for that, Tacova enthusiasts. Check them out as well if you're into Western Boots. So let's see, who was next?
My favorite.
I read a comment on Jenell's channel, and there's a guy who called you
Potbelly Cobbler.
I couldn't. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't either. Because it was what was it, last Saturday actually. He ended up tagging me in one of his videos, so thank you. I do appreciate that. And I think it was like a day or two after that, I see it got a comment on one of my videos, so I'm like, okay, like, let me read it. So I started reading it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So at least you guys see me and notice that I'm in the back, yeah. I'm that girl. I'm the girl who sits in the back.
Yeah, but hey, I'm working on my figure. I switched over from beer to whiskey.
Now you need to exercise.
I do. I've been trying to get back again with the newborn and everything. It's so hard. Like the other night, my goal right now is to wake up at like 5:30, do half-hour exercise and stretching, maybe yoga. I've been having some issues with my knee, so yes, give me all the crap you want, but I do have to start doing yoga. I'm not getting younger, obviously, and that's the sad part. I'm not even 30 yet. I'm gonna be 30 this year, finally, at the end of the year. But I've been having issues with my knee, so I'm trying to get into a good routine. But a few nights ago, our baby, she's Zara, she's now 9 months. She's gonna be a year soon. She just, for almost 2 hours, just screaming. Thank you to my wife. Thankfully, she puts up with her in the middle of the night, because I told her, I'm like, look, 3 kids, I'm done. I am not changing no more smelly diapers. I'll take care of her every now and then when it comes to that, but I can't do the smelly diapers no more. I'm having like almost gag reactions when it comes to the formulas now at this point. The smell is killing me. And the nights, oh my God, she woke me up, and I couldn't get into my schedule and routine. It's so hard to get back into it. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into shape. I gotta really concentrate on that. My goal, however, was until I'm 30, I could eat whatever I want and mess around all I want. But I think I need to start working my way towards better eating and all that kind of stuff. So I'm getting there, and it's going to be a process so that by the time I'm 30, I'm on a good schedule and a good eating habit. But thank you for calling me a potbelly cobbler. Thank you.
That was the best thing I've ever read.
I read a comment. Okay, so that's the same guy. As Bill Clinton would say, I didn't inhale. Are we in trouble for saying that out loud now?
I'm in trouble. Mom's saying she sees everything.
Hi, Mom.
Hello.
Let's see. Thumbs up from Sky's Random Channel. Let's see. Jeremy, Haan was the first pair I bought myself a long time ago for $210. I thought I was getting a good deal. Never again. So, Haan used to be a phenomenal brand. It was the go-to brand. They were very good. Unfortunately, when Nike stepped in and bought up almost, I think either half or almost half the company, that's when things started going downhill. Then eventually Nike bought up the whole company, and it's completely downhill. It's one of those things that when big companies come in, buy them up, that's when you start seeing issues. That's what we're seeing with Edmonds. Cobblers took over, and slowly but surely now you have a Shell Cordovan Park Avenue tennis shoe. For those of you who know Edmonds Park Avenue, that's their staple shoe. That was a regular cap toe. That was your go-to If you needed a pair of shoes that was nice and dressy, the Cap Toe Park Avenue was the go-to. Now they have a tennis shoe version that's shell cordovan. Actually, they even topped it. Marcus just showed me the other day. Camel print.
Oh yeah.
Camel print. Park Avenue tennis shoes. Whoever did that, if you ever see this video,
You're a disgrace.
get out of the shoe game.
You're a
Get out.
disgrace.
Get out. Oh, that was horrible. I saw that thing, I almost wanted to vomit. Oof. Park Avenue, tennis shoe, camel print, with a white sole on top of that.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
No.
You haven't seen it, right? I'm gonna have to pull it up.
I can imagine it.
Edmonds,
I kind of don't want to see it.
Camel
Just
Park Avenue. I'll have to if
They
it
have
shows
it.
up because it's a newer thing. Somebody's already got it posted for $50. If you want it for $50 on eBay, I will post the link, but you can at least check out the image. Oh. Okay, it's not a white sole; it's a black sole, or black or green sole.
I
but
think it's like a dark.
I'll link it to all you guys below in the comments.
Yeah.
That thing is disgusting. This is an eBay one. Oh man, the link is too long. I can't post it.
So one thing I've actually talked about with one of the guys here at the lounge. His name is Mark. Not Chess Mark.
Oh, Martindale.
Martindale, yes. And we were talking about how, there's a lot of men's shoes that are, nice quality and they're very nicely made versus women's shoes where it's like, they're very cheap and they're very hard to work with. And I've worked with a lot of like women's shoes as well, and I do wish they made nice quality women's shoes just as they do with men's shoes. There are some brands that do have that, but most brands that I've heard of, they strictly do men's, or there's no actual nice women brand shoes. So hopefully we can eventually get into that someday, so then I can finally own a pair of shoes that are nice, just like
So
men's shoes.
yeah, so I'll get into the ladies' shoes here in a minute, but okay. So the Park Avenue link isn't working because I can only find it on eBay, but
But just search up.
yeah, Google it or something.
Yeah.
Alan Edmonds Park Avenue camouflage tennis shoes. You'll see it. It's disgusting. Horrific. It's horrible.
Terrific.
I said horrific.
I heard terrific.
Yeah, it sounded like that. Let's see. My favorite beer, Russian imported stout, maple pecan from Brazos Valley Brewing. Interesting. That's a mouthful to say for a beer. But I'm in Colorado. We're technically the beer capital of North America. I know all the... Well, I don't know them all, but I know that we have some crazy names for beers. Some of them like, what? That's a beer? I thought you just named off like an article of clothing.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't had beer in a while till like recently, like 2 days ago, and I don't
When you're
know.
comparing it
I
to-
kind of compared to whiskey and like all the other drinks that we do and every time we have a cigar. Like I'm just not used to beer anymore. I was a little bit disgusted. Maybe it was the type of beer I had, or
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I could still have a nice stout one or something,
Yeah.
but do you still have somebody... Hot Wax 93. A lot of people say that Alan Edmonds is still decent quality. Yes, it is still a decent quality because most of their models are Goodyear Welted, still 360 degree. The only dilemma, obviously, like I mentioned, is the quality control issue. Alan Edmonds has been struggling on that. I guess they are starting to change off from the older cobblers and shoemakers that they had in their facility to new guys. And the new guys just aren't keeping up with the demand now and stuff. And also there's a lot of change. They're bringing out more tennis shoes and all that kind of junk. And so now the quality control issue guys are having to check through all these crazy new stupid styles, and also simultaneously the stuff that is more traditional that everyone's familiar with and used to. So quality control is the issue. If you're getting a factory second, just expect it's a factory second, unless it's something major like we just saw recently a few weeks ago, where one of their Dalton boots had on one side 6 eyelets and the other side had 7 eyelets. Now that's a major issue, and that was a factory first. But don't complain too much. If there's a little discoloration, it's leather. It's full grain leather. You gotta accept the fact that leather is not perfect. It is not perfect. It's not printed on. You're gonna have discoloration if you have a lighter color. You're gonna have one part that's kind of like almost looks like it has like a splat on it or something like that, or a streak. So it's normal.
The same thing as for repair instance. There are cases where it's like I do have to repair certain stuff, and then you get people wanting the exact color to be put on, the pair of shoes or bag that they bring in. That's not really possible unless we get the same exact leather that the bag or the shoe was made out of. And we try our best to try and match the colors as possible. So, I mean...
In other words, the best way I can put it, and this is on behalf of all cobblers, all leather repair experts, all leather care experts, all shoe shiners, all patina professionals. On behalf of all of them, you want perfection, you're going to have to pay for it from the beginning. You're going to have to get a John Lobb, Graziano and Girling, something that is literally thousands of dollars. And even then, there's going to be minor imperfections because it's handmade. Accept that fact, there is never perfection. The only perfection you're going to get from the leather finish is heavily corrected, cheap grained leather or man-made synthetics that is printed on vinyl.
It's like the same thing as an artist. For example, like if you have a person who's doing a painting, it's not going to be perfect. No matter what, there's going to be mistakes. So
but that's what art is.
We see it as
the art.
And it's our art. So, we're going to make mistakes. Like, there's going to be little imperfections and,
Speaking of art, she's got an art channel.
Yeah.
What's your channel name for art? Oh, she's already forgotten. Shame.
Because I have...
Shame.
Okay. I'm getting there.
All right.
So it's official Jenna's Art Studio. So I go by Jenell, Jen, or Jenna. When I originally created that channel, I went by Jenna. So.
All right. But okay, so Arthur, Carmina makes a beautiful ladies' shoe, beautiful ladies' shoes and boots, and shame on Alan Edmonds. So yes, obviously big companies, eventually they get big to a point, they get bought out by an even bigger company, and the guy retires. It's understandable. We've seen that with a number of companies over the years. It happens, but Carmina's definitely an awesome one. That's I have an issue. I have one pair of Carminas that I got there. They were new to me, that are shell cordovans. My only pair of Carminas and my only pair of shell cordovans. They're a little tight on my feet. My toes feel a little smushed.
And I'm not saying like all brands don't have like women's shoes type of thing. I just wish there was more. I mean, you have the Louis Vuittons, and those are expensive.
They're averaging about $1,000.
Yeah, but I wish there was more, because if you look at the customers that we have coming in, we have a lot of men coming in with their shoes, and then we have a lot of ladies that come in. But with the ladies' shoes, they're more, I don't want to butcher it, but some of them are more cheaply made to where it's like we can't do our job in order to fix it. And there's some ladies that don't really like to take care of their shoes. No offense to the ladies, but I'm kind of the same way, unfortunately. But knowing that if they did have a really nice pair of shoes, like especially the Louis Vuittons, like
Louis
Vuittons. There's Louis Vuitton, which is different.
LV.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton is Christian Louis Vuitton with the red bottom.
But yeah, so it kind of.
Well, ladies' shoes in general, I mean, on average, they look at statistics when it comes to big companies. Statistically, big companies look at it that way, that on average, women have 3 to 1 shoes compared to men on average. 3 to 1 to 4 to 1. So they want to be able to mass produce a little bit more. Their expectation is that the lady's going to wear out the shoe, toss it, and buy a new pair. That's a little more common. And plus, you can't make a burly big shoe for a woman. I mean, a lady's going to have a couple of big hefty boots or maybe a pair of shoes or two, but she's going to want something nice. And to make something nice, you got to make a slim, low profile. So that includes cutting down the amount of material, the material quality, because obviously it has to be something light enough for a smaller woman, especially if you're a lady that's 5 foot or under. You can't be wearing a shoe that's nearly a pound.
Well, like I'll give Aldo some credit. The way that they design their shoes, they're, I see a lot of ladies like them and wearing them, but the quality is what makes it different. If their quality was a little bit better or somewhat improved, I feel like, it just make it better for where ladies would actually take care of it a little bit more versus,
even with a cheap shoe, with the ladies' shoes, the little heels they wear out, I mean, they're ranging on average from about $15 to $30 a pair, depending on where you live and the cobbler that you deal with, but that's average. Elastics can be replaced, minor scuffing, waterproofing is very, very important. Protective soles can be added. So a number of small details can be done to ladies' shoes. It's just that comparing to men's Goodyear Welted shoe or even a Blake Stitch shoe, ladies' shoes are not going to last nearly as long. No matter what preventative actions you take, they're not expected to last nearly as long because ladies' fashion has a tendency to change a little more frequently than men's fashion.
And we also have people who cherish other, we've had a handful of people come in, especially ladies, to where they bring in antique boots where they just want it refurbished and everything because there's some sentimental value to it, and
there's a collectible aspect to it.
Yeah,
So that's
and
understandable too. There's certain limitations, especially with aftermarket materials that you have to do.
I just wish
93,
there was more of it.
Wisconsin is not the beer capital. Colorado is. And specifically, Boulder, Colorado, is the capital city for beer in North America. So, we have the best beer here. I don't know. I haven't tried all the beers, honestly. It's one of those things that we just have a lot of microbreweries out here, a lot of them, a lot. We also have a lot of whiskey places too. Shout out to Stranahan's. If anybody has seen that post that I had, one of the gentlemen from Stranahan's brought me by a bottle of their fine whiskey. Well, yeah, it is whiskey, but it's not a bourbon from what I understand. I looked into it. Apparently it's not a bourbon, but it's a whiskey. Made here in Colorado. Once things kind of clear up, we're going to finally have a tour of the factory, and I've got the gentleman's boots that I've been delaying, unfortunately. We're going to do a video on his. He's got some R.M. Williams from Australia. They're very cool boots. If you're not familiar with R.M. Williams, that is another brand I'd recommend. Just not U.S. made. Comes out of Australia, though. Very cool. Let's see, who else we got? I didn't think so. Okay. Leather is a natural material, so you can expect it to be perfect all the time. So you can't expect it. Yeah, leather you can't expect to be perfect ever. It's natural. That's the beauty of it. The errors, the flaws, the natural gleams, the glistens, the blemishes. That's what creates the beauty of it. And obviously there are different grades of it also too. You have your top grain leather, the full grain, where you can still see the pore structure and everything. That's considered your top quality there. Big thumbs up to Cobblers Plus. Thank you, John Hill. What would you consider a good and acceptable quality for women's shoes, any brand specifically? So I think it was 2019 and we announced it 2020. SSIA, Shoe Service Institute of America, which is our industry kind of representation, we voted on the top brands, and I thought I had that posted on our Facebook page. We used to have on our old website and our blog. I'll try to repost that. Haan for ladies' shoes was rated number 1 for the price point. There's a good selection of them. They have great comfortability. From a cobbler standpoint, there's a number of things we can still do. So Haan in the women's category is still very acceptable. Obviously, when you start getting into other brands, there's, and again, that's very debatable. If you're looking at women's work boots, hiking boots, western boots, dress shoes, fashion-forward shoes, everyday wear. Every day is considered nowadays more of like a tennis shoe style. So it's very debatable on what it can be. Depends on the category, but for kind of like everyday type of wear or just from a cobbler standpoint, Haan was rated number 1, and I would agree with that personally for the ladies. There's Thursday Boot Company makes some amazing boots and shoes for ladies as well. Great price point as well. When you start getting into work boots, a lot of the same brands that we recommend for men: Red Wing, Chippewa, Danner. They make women's boots as well. Western Wear, Luke Casey, and Tacova. Same story with those. But that's kind of our 2 cents on it. Let's see. We're in. No, we got Coors out here. Gross.
Yeah.
Coors is still. Did I just kick the stand? I'm sorry, I kicked the stand a little bit. Coors is still one of the big breweries, and we have that out here in Colorado. But when we're comparing the amount of companies and brands out here, because we got Blue Moon out here, we got Fat Tire out here, and a number of other ones as well. Microbreweries are killing it out here. There are microbreweries that are part of a restaurant that they only produce like a few thousand gallons per year, and we're comparing it to literally millions, and in some cases nearly billions of gallons per year of beer. A few thousand gallons of beer produced locally. We have literally hundreds of small breweries that produce that annually. Let's see. And Pad. Are you talking about Pat's Blue Ribbon? That stuff is cheap, tasty. I've had that stuff. That's one of those that you go to after you run out the regular beer. I'm sorry to the guys that love Pabst Blue Ribbon. If that's the case, I'm sorry to you guys, but in my opinion, Pabst is not that great. Let's see. RM Williams also has some really pretty women's boots. Yes, they do. I haven't had any come through our shop, unfortunately. I did recently have some. Another good one, but these are very hard to come by. Another good women's shoe, Johnson Murphy. Johnson Murphy, we actually work with them here locally together. Johnson Murphy is not one of my top recommendations for men unless you're going for their executive models, which are their highest grade. Those are great. They're typically Goodyear welted with about a 270 degree welt on average. But the women's shoes, and again, is very hard to find. I just had a gentleman pick up a pair for his wife today. They're fairly well made, so I definitely recommend those. Let's see. Where did we leave off on? Of course, I know nothing about beer because I'm a well, that's just yeah, I can't say that right now.
You and your pronunciations.
Pronunciations. But yeah, again, that's just from what I've gathered. Statistically, here in Colorado, we are the capital for beer production. Love your work ethics and craftsmanship, brother. Thank you, Steve Meinzer. Steve Meinzer. Wax says yes. Pabst was Billy Carter's favorite brand. Billy Carter's favorite brand was Pabst. Okay, I guess it. Though, hey, some things are questionable, and that's the way it goes.
The very last one.
Okay.
He helped you out with the pronunciation.
Teetotaler. Oh, so you like teas? What do you know?
Oh.
Tea time. I got tea in here. I just got some standard Earl Grey in here right now. I am just getting into teas right now, so.
So
Oh, still
you might
hot.
want to tell the
So
people
hot.
listening, suede's not always a great choice, but they do look cool. That is.
No. So
No?
suede in general was actually created to be an easy maintenance shoe. When you get a pair of suede boots or shoes, your expectation should never be that they're going to look the same as when you take them out of the box to even a month from then or years down the road. Suede is extremely durable. It is very easy to maintain for your standard stuff such as cleaning and waterproofing. Conditioning is a little bit trickier. The only current conditioner out there for suede is the Saphir Suede Renovating Sprays that has a little bit of almond oil in it. That's the only conditioner out there currently for suede. But otherwise, it is designed to be one of those materials that when you get a pair of suede shoes or boots, do not ever expect them to last you appearance-wise forever. Appearance-wise, durability-wise, and withstanding a number of things, they're going to last you a very long time.
Need 2 bathrooms.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where do we leave off at? Let's see. You might want to tell the people listening. Okay. Yep. Really, Trenton and Heath said that Johnson & Murphy men's shoes are really bad quality. So your standard Johnson & Murphys, you got to look at a different perspective, I guess. Trenton and Heath, they are not originally professionals in the trade. They do phenomenal work, not dogging them. I have worked in this industry my entire life. I'm a second-generation cobbler. I have sold shoes. I've done orthopedics, meaning I've done custom orthotics. I've dealt with that category completely. Johnson & Murphy has 3 stable categories. They have their comfort line, they have their standard line, and they have their executive line. That's the best 3 ways I would categorize it. Their comfort line is what a pair I have on is XC4. They're rubber, molded rubber soles. They're dual width. They have a lot of comfort features. They are not designed to be recraftable. There are certain things that can be done to them to repair them, but there's limitations. Their standard line is kind of their basic thing. It's very comparable to Cole Haan, obviously, but that's the thing. And then they've got their executives. They have 3 different categories for the needs that you may need. Obviously, I would recommend over Johnson Murphy, Allen Edmonds, and Thursday Boot Company for very close price point. Johnson Murphy's a little bit better as far as the price goes, but I'm not going to dog them completely. There are things I'm not happy with Johnson Murphy, obviously, but I've got a pair on right now. I'm not going to take them off. My feet smell. But it's
You're
one of
hitting
the.
the cord, by the way.
Oh, shit. They smell bad, and it's the XC4 model. You too. It's the XC4 line, which is their comfort line, so they're phenomenal.
You do this every week?
We just started up. We thought we'd do it, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. Seems like a few people like it, so
Pretty cool.
yeah. All right, you as well. You're a teetotaler?
Teetotaler.
Teetotaler.
Yeah.
That's the proper
It
terminology.
means someone who doesn't drink alcohol.
Oh, I thought it meant tea, like TT, like tea. Okay.
We have our blonde moments.
I'm originally blonde. God, you guys should have seen me. I was the blondest kid ever when I was growing
yeah.
up. So I used to have like
He was
almost
like
bleach
this blonde.
blonde. Way blonde. It was
Blonder
almost
than
white.
this.
Yeah. Budweiser and Coors are great beers if you like flavorless, watery beers. They are technically very difficult to make, being incredibly consistent. Yeah, I actually took a tour of the Coors factory out here years ago. I wasn't 21 yet, but I took a tour. It's understandable. They're a go-to beer to just grab and go if you're going to a potluck or, like just to a friend's house or something. Just grab it and go. One beer that I do like, I like Blue Moon, Fat Tire, and Land Shark is a pretty good light beer if you want something a little bit lighter. That was a good, awesome one for me. What cigars are you smoking? So, I am smoking my father Fensica. If that will catch on camera, hopefully. Let me see. Okay.
Semi.
Fensica. That's what it is. I've got a number of cigars.
Yeah. And then I'm smoking the Oliva.
Oliva O series.
This
I'm not a
one.
big fan of the Olivas. Typically,
You have to do it the Guru style, you know, where they put the hand behind.
I'm not a big fan of the Olivas. I do like the Oliva V's, but I tend to lean towards a darker cigar because I've been smoking for a while. Jenell's fairly new to this, so she still sticks to the Connecticut.
I like the lighter ones, and this one's actually like a smooth drag. It has a smooth drag to it. So
You got one of the boxed ones, yeah.
Yeah, I
you
have
got
the
a
one
box. Yeah,
so it's
you
pretty.
So that one is the what were they called? It's the long ones. Dang it! I just spaced out on it. It's a long one, but it's a box, so that means it's a box pressed style one. Let's see. Are the small nails used instead of toe plates in the toe area of leather soles any good? So if you're not wanting to get the French toe plates, or what they're called, Lulu, Triumph, or custom ones, which stand out, the little nails that they add, like Justin Fitzpatrick adds on his shoes. I got a pair of Gucci's for men's Gucci loafers that have it on at the shop right now. Those little nails help significantly if you're somebody that wears out your toes. Now, obviously, the next step up from that is going to be your toe plates, but the nails help significantly, so they're definitely great to have. If you're a toe wearer. If you're not a toe wearer, it doesn't make a difference to you because you don't wear out your toe. You wear out the ball of your foot, the side of your sole, or in most cases the heel, or a combination of the heel and the sole areas, wherever it may be. Let's see. I guess you could interpret it that way. Yep. Arthur, putting nails in the toe reminds me of flamenco shoes. Yeah. There's a lot of companies that are starting to put brass toe nails into the toe area these days. It's kind of a statement now. It's becoming very popular for appearance-wise, looks, but it actually isn't just appearance. It's also the durability aspect helps improve that significantly. By the way, you mentioned owning a hookah. Steve from Beatles Leatherworks also smokes hookah. Yeah, I know. I think he's got one of the bigger ones that's like this tall. I have some of the more smaller travel ones. I got one that's like that big. And then I think I still have my mini that's like this big. But I haven't touched it in years. My wife used to like hookah quite a bit, and then she tried getting away from it, especially with kids and stuff like that. Mine's just sitting there. I haven't touched it. I think all my shishas is just all dried out. I'm a cigar guy, personally. I got a few guys in here at the lounge that try to convince me to get into pipes, and I'm like, I don't do pipe tobacco too well. It's too sweet for me.
And on top of that, it's I don't know. I lost the word. It's too.
For me,
it's hectic. I've actually had one of my friends.
It's more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more hectic to deal with, and well, with this, it's like if it.
It's just another expense. In my case,
and another collection.
I have an addictive personality when it comes to cool things. I get into something heavily. Like I start researching it, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts about it, researching it, and that's why I'm banned from certain things. I'm not allowed in the tool section at Home Depot. I'm not allowed in the butcher aisle at the grocery store, which I just got, by the way, a green egg smoker. The guy Mark who ran into my back door at the shop, I got it from him since he was moving. But I'm so excited to finally be able to use it soon. It's still kind of crappy over by us with snow and mud and everything, so I don't get to use it quite yet. But I can't wait to try that out. I like barbecuing a lot. Let's see.
I like the Oliva V's and the Milanios,
yeah. I haven't tried that one actually. So I've had the V series, the O series, the what's the other one? Is it E series? Or shoot, what was it? I just forgot what it was. There's another series and it's a letter. For some reason I want to say it's an E, but it's not. It's not an E. But there's another series. So the only one from Oliva I like is V. That's it, because it's the darker one.
I feel like I tend to go to the Olivas a little bit more. They're just a little bit easier.
See, this one's like too light for me. This is like a Corojo or something, or it's almost a Connecticut. But it's my first time trying it. I have a habit of, usually when I buy cigars, I buy 2, and I let them sit in my humidor, and then I smoke one, and then the other one I just hang on to. If I like it, I'll probably smoke it and then restock. But if I don't like it, I'll just hang on to it for my collection. If anybody ever wants to smoke with me and they're a first timer, like a buddy or someone, they're like, yeah, I like cigars and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you could have one of mine. I didn't like this one. It's a lighter one because I'm not gonna smoke it. They'll probably like it, but if they truly are not a cigar smoker, they're gonna waste my cigar anyways. So why give them something nice? That's like the rule of thumb of cigar smoking. You have your top shelf and you got your lower shelf ones, and the lower shelf ones are the ones they usually give out to people that brag that they like smoking cigars. Let's see. I'm pretty sure bourbon is limited to a few places where it can be made. Otherwise, it's called whiskey. So, yeah. Well, if it's made in the U.S., it can be considered bourbon, but there's a ratio to it to be actually categorized as a bourbon. I honestly can't remember it. It depends whether it's wheat or rye and all that kind of stuff, and there has to be a certain ratio. Then it has to be considered. Then it can be considered bourbon, but it has to be made in the U.S. as well. It's not so much regional; it's a matter of ratio in that category. Let's see. Yeah, like champagne. Champagne is regional. So, like this one, for example, this is a Scotch. To mention, Scotch has to be made in Scotland. It's still a whiskey. It is a whiskey. Whiskey is a generic term, like saying car. Car is a generic term. Now, when you start breaking it down to what brand it is, the model it is, things like that, that's where whiskey starts branching out. Whiskey branches out into Scotch, bourbons, rye whiskey, wheat whiskey, and all those other categories. Canadian whiskey. Whiskey with or without an E spelt in it. There's a lot of things. That's when you start getting into the regional things. But Scotch is a whiskey, bourbon is a whiskey, whiskey is whiskey, that kind of stuff. Canadian whiskey is whiskey. It's one of those things that, depending on the region, I mean, when you start getting into Scotches, it even branches out there. An Islay Scotch, for example, has to come from an island called Islay. It's spelled like Isla, but it's pronounced Isla, and those are like hefty. Like when you got an infinity bottle where you just pour whiskey into it and you mix your own. And I learned this the hard way with Ardbeg, which is a very like flavorful Islay Scotch. It destroys your whole infinity bottle, and I learned that the hard way. Oof, did it destroy it? I had to basically really work at trying to get that Islay Scotch out of there. Let's see. Sparkling wine is made everywhere, but champagne is only in France. It's made in Champagne, France, actually. From that region, Wisconsin has the very best beer in the world. No, it does not. Wisconsin does not have the best beer in the world. I don't know. I'm staying away from beers, so.
Yeah, it's a pot-belly cobbler.
You guys can debate with each other. I was called a pot-belly cobbler. I can't have beer anymore. Jay apparently.
There's proof. It takes a while to get rid of.
Somebody else associates beer with Wisconsin. I grew up in Wisconsin. Best in the world. Let's see.
And then there's that one, but we can't curse on YouTube.
Yeah, we can't be cursing on YouTube.
YouTube
has issues that.
So people in the comment section, you can do it, but unfortunately, we can't say any cuss words or certain words for YouTube reasons.
Apparently on Facebook too. Somebody was not removed, but they were banned by Facebook in one of the groups that I'm an admin in for saying something which I can't say on here either. But it starts with a W and has an H right after that. And he just called somebody an avid shoe collector. In other words, I'll put it in that kind of term. And Facebook flagged the guy and banned him for like 20 days or something like that. It was stupid. well, he wasn't directly calling the person that word. He just said that he's crazy about shoes and boots. It was stupid.
Yeah.
So sorry, bud, but yeah, I can't. Yeah.
I mean,
YouTube
so-
automatically flagged your message. By the way, it wasn't us.
Yeah.
I
So
just saw
that's
that.
probably why it's not showing in the chat room at the moment.
Yeah.
But we can see it on our end. It's just the chat for the people who are watching us. They can't really see it because I have it on my phone pulls up, so I can't
Let's see.
see it on there.
New Galleries is so good they refuse to sell it outside the state. What is New Glarious? Whatever you got, I want to try it. Send me a bottle or a can or whatever it is. That sounds interesting. I thought bourbon had to be made in Kentucky to be labeled as such. Technically, yes, but apparently recently there have been new bourbons coming out of other states. That was my. Honestly, I was confused about it, but I started noticing that there are actual bourbons coming out of other states. I don't know, maybe if they're like certain particular category of states, but that was what I was confused about, and that was a while ago. But I started seeing it recently that bourbons are starting to come out of other states, not just Kentucky. Only way to go, rough out leather on your boots and shoes. Yeah, rough out leather is awesome. Thursday, that's one of actually Thursdays that I want. They've got that rough out leather that they do some kind of special treatment to it. I want a pair of those. Those look awesome. I live right next door in Michigan, but I have no desire to try New Glarious or any other beer for that matter. I don't drink or smoke for that matter. Sorry, Hot Wax. I guess I will respect that. Is very respectable that you don't drink or smoke. Very truly respectable. But if you ever feel like you want to share the love, I would love to try whatever this new Glarious beer is. Let's give it a try.
We have every person has their own hobbies, so I'm sure you have yours as well.
But Wisconsin can keep sharing their cheese with us. That stuff is to surrender for. I never got into cheese too much. We have a King Super the King Super's over by us.
Well, I have a roommate who's a chef, so I get the good stuff all the time. So I've tried different kinds of cheeses and yeah.
So
pair it with the right stuff.
I don't know.
It's great.
I don't know enough about cheeses personally. Let's see. Choose the. I don't drink anymore. Where do we leave off at?
I don't drink anymore either, but when I did, I appreciated authentic German beer and new Glarus.
Glarus? Glarus. Shoes that are covered with both leather and suede. I know not to get leather, wax, or polish on the suede, but is Saphir Renovator spray harmful to the leather? How would you care for such shoes? So when they're dual leather, you're not gonna anything that you put on the suede is not going to harm the smooth leather ever. It may appearance-wise, like if you put the waterproofer on just the suede, and your goal is just to allow the wax to be your waterproofer for the smooth area, the smooth leather, the finished leather. It may kind of dull up the appearance, but just buff it up. Anything that you put on the suede will not harm the smooth finished leather. But vice versa, like the waxes and creams, it will change. It won't harm it, but it will change the appearance of the suede drastically. So start by taking care of I guess you can say, start by first taking care of the smooth leather. Typically that's what's on the bottom of the shoe or like on the toe area, and then take care of the suede because you can clean it up. Good trick if you accidentally get a little bit of wax on your suede, instead of trying to use any kind of strong cleaners or anything, take either a nylon brush or sandpaper that's about 100 to 120 grit, and just kind of sand it off, blow it off, wipe it off real quick, and that's it. That'll take off that wax because wax doesn't tend to penetrate into the suede. It just kind of settles over top and makes it smooth. Just a quick little trick that I want to mention to everybody. Let's see. Where are we at? Have you tried rye whiskeys? I do have a couple, and I honestly don't remember which ones they were. I wasn't too crazy for the rye ones, but I have a couple at the house. I wax my suede boots once a month. That might be a little bit too much, honestly. The suede is going to take on that wax very well, unless you're wearing them in harsh conditions. But if you layer on too much wax and you put it on a suede finish boot, it's going to be very hard to remove it, because take smooth leather finished boots, for example. You wax it and put wax to keep it shiny. On average, about once every 6 to 12 months, you want to remove the wax to be able to clean up the leather to remove any kind of like mineral damage from like salt or anything like that. But if you apply too much wax on suede and it just cakes on there, it's going to be extremely hard to get it off afterwards. Personally, if they were my boots and they were suede and I put wax on it, I would probably do it maybe like once every 6 months, maybe once a year even. Unless you're wearing them in extremely heavy or harsh conditions, then that's acceptable to do once every 1 to 2 months roughly. Keeps them waterproof, but they are Should have read your next message, man. They are logging boots. Why didn't you tell me? Okay, he's a logger. Okay, Mr. Kenjay. He's a logger. Okay, yeah, you gotta wax yours all the time. Okay, in your case, wax all the time. For you who are not loggers, like this gentleman, you got a bad A job. I almost said it. You got an awesome job.
Bad A job.
That sounds really cool. I love outdoors.
YouTube restriction, bad A job.
Yeah. BA job. That sounds even worse.
Oh gosh.
Okay, Ken James, my hometown has a
Just so you know, that's YouTube restrictions again. We
Yeah.
are much worse in real life if we get more comfortable with you. Yeah. I've witnessed that, and unfortunately I've become one of them.
Yes, Mr. or Mrs. Hot Wax 93. Good foods. There's plenty of that out there. A lot of category foods. Good foods is a good one to get into. If you don't smoke or drink alcohol, even teas, coffees, those are great drinks to get into. Smoothies are a big one. I got into smoothies pretty good. I got one of those ninja blender things with the 3 blades. That thing's awesome.
So pretty much everything and anything you can think of, you can really get
it's a
into, like the
category.
research.
Oh my god, it's
Just
endless.
even like the simple stuff, yeah.
That's why I'm I have an addictive personality, because all that stuff, it's a whole category. There's so much cool stuff about it. A very addictive personality when it comes to that. I'm not very addictive towards like substances or gambling or anything like that. I don't really care. But when, like whiskeys, for example, I really got into it for the collecting aspect of it. I have a number of whiskeys now. Cigars, I have a number of them. Beers, I didn't get into because there's just not enough room in the fridge. We got other foods in there. So,
And
yeah.
it's Mr., by the way.
It's a Mister?
Yeah.
Okay, Mister.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with like the usernames and everything.
It says Hot Wax 93. It could be a number of things. It could be a guy or a girl, or who knows. It could be a dog. Dogs chew wax. One of our dogs at our house chews wax. For those of you who don't know, we got 6 dogs at the house.
And me, I have a corgi who chews everything.
I call her Noodle. She flops over on her side.
I call
like
her a
dogs.
roly-poly.
Yeah.
It's fun to roll her.
I love White's boots. JK. I had a pair of Actually, I have one JK boot getting some stretch work done on it. Whites are awesome. They are kind of pushing their limits on prices. Same with Nicks as well. Those are great boots. JK for the price point would be my pick, honestly, for the price point. Whites and Nicks are very great, but kind of pricey. Bourbon is minimum 51% corn in mash, aged at least 4 years in new charred American oak barrels. That defines the style. There you go. I was right. Mr. Steve Meinzer. He had answered the question. Bourbon is minimum 51% corn in mash, aged at least 4 years in new charred American oak barrels. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bourbon if it's made in Tennessee. There you go. Let's see. I quit eating all dairy, so no cheese. You can have mine. I'll take your cheese too. I like cheese. Let's see. Kenjay. All right, we'll do. Kenjay, you better. Or, Hot Wax, you better share. I like cheese. You like working on boots or dress shoes more? Honestly, probably it's hard to tell just because a lot of the boot companies out there are starting to expand their categories. They're starting to make molded style boots, plastic welts. If we go to the traditional build of dress shoes and the traditional build of work boots, I'd probably have to say ease of work would be work boots. It's a little bit easier to get through and everything, and price points are a little more flexible. They're not as harsh on us, especially material cost. But when we start getting into dress shoes, there's a little more an artistic category to it. If somebody gives us artistic creativity and gives us freedom of that, or if they have very specific, like they want something unique about it, you feel better and more fulfilled at the end. But after all, we are still a business, and so pushing out work boots is a little bit quicker and easier. I do love working on dress shoes when it comes to being artistic, but from a business standpoint, it's a little financially more easy on us when it comes to work boots.
And for me, I prefer working on boots, especially work boots, because people who do wear boots for work, they need specific things done to them. And so for me, on my end, I can be more creative about it versus like dress shoes. It's more of like, getting, simple stitch around where
with dress, for her category, for the rips and stitch work, dress shoes have to be like perfection. They have to be as original as possible type of thing, where with work boots, the creativity aspect comes in where, like, I need this area reinforced, I need this done. It'll change the appearance and stuff, but for her, she has to be creative to make it still passable appearance-wise and functional and durable and everything.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I do love me some iced tea, but I actually prefer that unsweetened. Tazo Black is some of the best I've ever had.
I prefer unsweetened tea too. I'm not a huge fan of sweet tea.
I'm working my way from the sweet tea, but for now, because I'm trying different teas and stuff, I've got some Russian tea that I have to run through a French press. Because I'm not ready for it, I don't know yet, so I just add some sugar just in case, because some of them are just...
And for me, I'm a big sugar person. I do love my chocolate and sweets.
Her and Nutella. And that's not even technically chocolate.
We're getting some UFC fights going.
Oh, cool. I didn't know those UFC on tonight.
Yeah, it's on every...
Dude, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah. But,
right.
yeah, I'm right there with you with the teas to be unsweetened. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, have you seen my old YouTube videos? I used to have my dog come into the shop, then the landlords. Like I said, we've been having issues with these landlords. It's been driving me crazy. I can't bring my dog anymore. We sneak my mom's dog in because she goes to the groomers like a few doors down from us, and she's technically a emotional support dog, EMS dog. So.
Yeah, and I do bring my work home sometimes, so I'll shoot videos there occasionally at my house. So I'll most likely show my corgi, and I do have a cat too.
Kentucky is where bourbon originated from, but Tennessee has become the leading place because of the Tennessee River. Say cheese.
Cheese!
I know a lady from Kentucky, and while I never talked to her about bourbon, she told me real southerner calls sweet tea
Swati tea?
Sway
tea?
Sweet tea. Sweet tea.
Swati.
I love my sweet tea.
She also told me her father called Coke Coca-Cola, which apparently is a common term down south as well.
So, funny story. Jenell and I, years ago, we were driving to South Carolina. We have relatives out there. and I used to have a '99 4Runner, Toyota 4Runner, and this thing was awesome. It was lifted, it was awesome. I loved it. But my alternator crapped
that was
out.
fun.
I hope that was an MK word to say on YouTube. But anyways, okay, it's not a cuss word. Crapped out. I said it. There you go.
It pooped out.
Yeah, but in Tennessee, it crapped out on me. And Jenell was, I think you were like, what, 16?
I was young.
Yeah, you were even, I think I was like 19 or something.
Yeah, and I was
So,
9.
Something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
She's in the back, and I've got like DVDs playing for her, and it was just the two of us. We were going to see our relatives. We got cousins out there that were her age and everything. And my alternator crapped out, and we broke down in Tennessee. Well, I barely made it off the highway onto the exit, and my car just stopped completely.
I thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah, she's freaking out, and I'm like, oh, come on. But anyways, we managed to break down next to a guy who had a sign and was asking for money, a beggar, basically. This guy came over, I popped my hood, and I'm trying to figure out, because I didn't know what happened at first. I'm like, what the hell? And so I thought I'd open up my hood and try figuring it out. Well, this guy came over, and I did not understand a word he said. This guy literally, and I'm not joking, I'm not being, making fun of any kind of Southerner type stuff or anything. This guy in particular literally had only 3 teeth in his mouth. I'm not joking. He had 3 teeth in his mouth.
I stayed in the car.
Yeah, I told her to stay in the car. I don't know this guy. We don't know what's gonna happen and stuff. But this guy came over, and I did not understand a word he said. I think to this day, I think he said something about the alternator. That's all I know. But I did not. I mean, that was a harsh accent or whatever you want to call it. But considering he only had 3 teeth in his mouth, I think that kind of made it hard for him to talk. And I was like, yikes. But state trooper pulled over and saw us and everything. And it was on a weekend, which made it even harder. It was like on a Sunday, I think, or a Saturday. And so dealerships are all closed. Mechanics are all closed. Even the tow truck guys, they're done for and stuff. But thankfully, the state trooper knew somebody. It was a small enough town where he knew somebody, contacted them, tow truck guy, and he's like, well, thankfully, I know somebody at the Toyota dealership, which is about 10 minutes up the road from here, 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes away from there is a motel that I know of. So thankfully, these small towns basically saved us.
Oh, yeah.
We had the car dropped off at the dealership, which obviously I would never take my car to the dealership, but we had no other choice. Because small local mechanic shops were not coming in on the weekends and stuff. And we dropped the keys into the drop box. The tow truck guy took me and my sister over with some of our stuff over to the motel. And early morning, I had to walk to the dealership. It was like a 15 to 20 minute walk, so it wasn't bad. She was still sleeping by the time I left. And I got back with the car and everything was fine. But it was an experience. And I was like 20. I was 19,
Yeah,
20
19,
or something
20.
like that. Man, it was a learning
It
experience.
was an
but
adventure, for sure.
I always have weird stuff happen like that. I don't know.
So, correction, it's Coca-Cola, not
Coca-Cola. I've
Sorry,
heard that.
it's with the eyes you just read through and you just expect it to say
They say that in
Coca-Cola.
Missouri as well. We got family out in Missouri, and they say Coca-Cola. Give me some of that Coca-Cola. Yep. We actually, our relatives say that. For those of you who don't know, we're Russian. We're first generation born here in the U.S. Russians. And obviously a number of our cousins are as well. And some of our cousins who live in South Carolina, they say y'all and they say Coca-Cola. Give me some of that Coca-Cola. It's fun. If to us, it's funny. It's I don't know why, but it's super funny
interesting
hearing our
because
cousins say that.
of how, since we were born here in Colorado and the way we've kind of learned how to, because our first language was Russian because of our parents being Russian. So the way we learned English was a little bit different from how they learned English. So from them living...
Well, so you learned English from me in our middle school.
I still had issues.
Our thing was I learned English from my cousins because I'm the oldest. I learned English from our cousins and Russian from my parents. My Russian's starting to struggle a little bit because my wife speaks only English, and so do my kids now at this point, which I wish they would take on Russian so they could be bilingual. But My Russian's kind of struggling lately because I don't talk as much in Russian anymore. Even talking to you guys here on YouTube.
We have issues with pronunciations, so if you haven't noticed.
Pronunciations.
Pronunciations.
Okay, so where are we at? Seeing you smoke indoors is an alien concept as I'm in California. Yeah, well, we're in Colorado. We were actually one of the first states to ban indoor smoking. The only reason why cigars can be smoked indoors is it's one of those gray areas where it's grandfathered in such a way. There's a lot of obvious restrictions, obviously, about it and stuff, but a lot of these indoor places have certain ventilation and everything, so they're very on top of it. There's a lot. We're also inside Denver limits here, so Denver for us is like the most strict place, in other words. So they do great.
There's
fights
the
in the
fights.
background. All right. About the
So they practice
person that got
a
in
different
trouble
language
for
down.
using the W word on that has a lot of clothes as a.
So there's the other one you missed. They practically speak a different language down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
learned
noticed.
that.
Yeah.
But about the shoe horse, we'll say horse. That's a good one. Definitely a shoe horse is a good one to use, but it was with a W before the H, is what he said. Shoe horse and stuff. So yeah, he got banned for like 20 days or something, and we were the admins, and he sent it to one of the admins actually, and because we got notifications about it that somebody in the group was removed, and we're like, this is ridiculous, stupid. I'm starting to hate Facebook. That's the only reason why I use Facebook is for all the enthusiasts and shoe collectors and people who are into shoes or just getting into shoes. That's the only reason why I use it. And that's it. Promote the shop, talk to you guys who are on the groups. That's it. Let's see. I live in Quaylands now 3 healer dogs. Wait. Quaylands now 3
healer dogs. I drink water.
Turned
60 the other day.
Hey, folks think I'm 40. I really love good clothes like Filson whites. Filson whites. Well, you turned 60 the other day. Happy late birthday to Ken J. Everybody give him happy late birthday. I don't know when your birthday was, Ken, but happy late birthday anyways. And if you look 40 and you're 60, that is a hand of applause. Because I'm 29 and I look 40. Somebody here a few weeks ago here at the Cigar Lounge thought I was like in my mid-40s. Maybe early 40s.
And my age should not be talked about.
Yeah, I guess hers will leave undisclosed for the moment.
I'm a lady. Nobody talks about.
Although her birthday is coming up Saturday next week.
Yeah, next week Saturday is going to be my
Jenell's
birthday.
birthday. So we're coming back here to Cigar Lounge to celebrate, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Marcus will be here. I don't know if we'll get around to live stream because it's gonna be super noisy. If we got a bunch of people here, you heard a bunch of noise back there. That's what it gets like out there when we're out there with a bunch of people. We're here in the back in the corner, and it's still fairly noisy. Let's see. Where are we at? Steve, I can still remember a time where in Michigan when you'd walk into a restaurant and they'd ask smoking or non-smoking. I remember those days here in Colorado, and I'm not up there in age, so I remember those days. Smoking and non-smoking at good old Village Inn. Oh,
Do you have water by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Getting me dehydrated.
But Michigan, by the way, Marcus is from Michigan. He's from Flint originally. No comment. Everyone knows about Flint. I'm a carpenter, logger, working daily. My clothes need to be my clothes need to perform in this crappy climate. Yes, for a carpenter and logger, you gotta get some tough stuff, man. Props. It's really cool work that you do. My great grandfather was a carpenter and carpenter. whatever.
What? Yeah.
But anyways,
That word.
in my family currently, of anyone that's alive, we only have one relative that is a carpenter, and it's my cousin who's out in Germany. He works with wood in particular. Otherwise, again, I'm a cobbler. I work with leather. I don't work with wood. That's all who's left in my family these days, and that's my cousin in Germany that works with wood. Let's go back up. I think it's funny too since they just dropped the second syllable, and I can see. Sorry, my eyesight's not that great for a certain distance.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead and
Okay.
read. You're right there. For me, I feel like.
And I can see how someone might say that, especially as a small child. When I was little, I called M&Ms num-nums.
You did that.
I did that.
She used to do that. She'd say num-nums.
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 Yep.
I do like the num-nums.
I have a boot, dog, jacket, truck, education.
Addiction.
Right.
Education.
I thought that said again. My eyesight sucks for distance. I
Addiction.
can read the
Yeah.
numbers on a needle up
Hey,
close.
it's a good addiction. It's better than other addictions that are out there. So
Yeah, that's coming from a family where I'm not even gonna mention it. Yeah, that's not something I should mention. But anyways, moving on. What does it say? Hot
I'm
wax
surprised you don't. So I'm surprised you don't smoke weed, seeing as you're in Colorado. The nickname Mile High City for Denver has taken on a much more literal meaning since 2012.
Very true.
Yeah.
We were, for those of you who don't know, we are a mile above sea level. That's why we were originally called Mile High City. But now, since marijuana is legal here in our state, it's taken on new meaning. I don't participate. I have in the past as a teenager, but to this day, it's not my cup of tea. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't have an addictive personality towards substances, and I don't find much interest in it. I've tried edibles in order to try to get myself to sleep sooner because I was going fishing early morning, which is, by the way, another one of my addictions that has gotten me into a lot of trouble with money wise. Yeah, I have a more interest. I mean, because,
You'd be surprised the amount of people who have lived in Colorado most of their lives. They're not. I guess you can say they don't go for weed as often as people who moved here recently from different states.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like both him and I have tried it, and I guess you can say everybody has their own tastes. Like our taste is cigars and whiskeys, while other people, they enjoy weed.
I just had
So.
2 glasses. That's it. That's it for the night. I mean, I might have some tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. But it's a slim chance. And if it is, it's probably gonna be like 1 glass if I'm at the house. I usually don't do 2 glasses, and it's usually just the weekends. Again, my addictive personality is I'm millennial. As crappy as that sounds, I'm millennial. YouTube is probably one of my favorite things, but it's YouTube when it comes to learning about certain things. So when I start getting into whiskeys, I YouTubed it for hours. On the way home, my drive home is 45 minutes. On the way to work, it's 45 minutes. So I just plug in an earbud and I'm listening to just all the information I can take in 45 minutes.
Well, with YouTube, it's like you have different, I guess you can say, people all around the world where they make different content, and so they have more logic on certain things than people who are just getting into it. So it's like you can learn a lot just from YouTube.
That's
And
why a lot of people are here. They're here listening about shoes, and we're talking about bourbons and whiskeys
exactly.
and
So
cigars and
from
cheese.
everybody, from
Where'd cheese come from?
from everybody, you can learn different things that you personally didn't know, or
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I mean by it. Like, as a millennial, the only thing that I'm proud of is all the access to information. That's what I love. That's why a number of you who are part of our channel, again, thank you for everyone who's part of it. A lot of you watch due to that educational aspect. My videos are not short, They're not technically ASMR, but some of you, I guess, fall asleep to it. I don't know if it's because I'm boring or if it's actually an ASMR for you, but either way,
It's more of ASMR.
I don't know. I blabber too much like we are going on. How long are we going?
An hour and 49 minutes.
Jeez, alright. Man, we're chilling with you. This cigar lasts
So-
a while.
Yeah.
Typically, with something like this, it's about an hour.
Well,
Less.
we're also talking. Did you get your landlord issues sorted? In other news, is Jason Dornstar out of the shoe shine game with his new job?
So Jason is still doing what he's doing, but he ended up getting this job as a side gig because with Jason we're kind of partnered. It's not like he works for us or anything. He's not an employee, so we didn't like fire him or let him go or cut his hours. He does his own thing, so definitely be sure to support him on his YouTube channel, Jason Dornstar. He definitely
Yeah, so we kind of help each other out in
yeah.
that aspect. You know, he has his thing that he wants to continue doing, and then we have our thing that we want to continue doing. So we kind of just started working together in order to, help each other out. So
He still wants to stay in the shoe game, but he needed, obviously after 2020, we all know it's been a rough year. He needed to take a different approach and expand it a little bit. But give him some love, give him some attention, and all that as well. The landlord situation, we are still trying to work out. I did apply for the PPP loan, and I got all the approvals and everything. But right now, this week has just been hammering away at me. There's something wrong with the finances being deposited into the account. The banker, the underwriters, and all of these guys right now have no answer for me. They said they have contacted such and such and are waiting on a response. Everything was approved, everything was finalized, but there is no funds in the account. And I'm like, the landlord is killing me. And she is...
we're not a huge fan of her. Just
Yeah.
gonna put it that way.
The whole shopping center don't like her. The whole
Yeah,
shopping
if
center.
you
But I think they honestly hire people like that intentionally. As
most
a
likely.
property manager or landlord, those are the type of people that they typically hire.
Yeah. So Hot Wax, 93. You're 29. I'm 28, so not far off.
Hey, got somebody close to my age.
And then Steve Minzer, spasiba.
Nazdarovia.
Going from English to Russian, Nazdarovia. And then Ken J. But we was pardoned by the governor. It went out over the radio. Well, we ain't got no radio.
I got confused on that one. That was
I'll reread it. So,
Okay, let me concentrate.
but we was pardoned by the governor. It went out over the radio. Well, we ain't got no radio.
Are you from Tennessee?
I had to get my accent out a little bit there.
I'm sorry, but
It took me a while to try and get that accent out. Second time kind of helped a little.
I'm sorry. That was so hard to understand. I had to concentrate. That was my concentrated face.
So,
I didn't get it.
and then Hot Wax 93, I have not who works at it as a pediatric nurse in Flint, and I can tell you the media was exaggerated. The media way exaggerated the water crisis. It was a big deal, but not nearly as bad as it was played up.
So from what I understand, and this is what Marcus told me about the Flint issue, I guess there was certain areas of Flint that were heavily affected, and those were the areas that they were showing on the media. But I guess where his family still lives and his wife's family too, so his in-laws live, they have no issues. But there are certain areas, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, for us here in Denver, even though we have water coming here from the melted ice caps and snow and all that kind of stuff, we're supposed to have really pure water. I don't trust the water here in Denver. I don't trust it in Glenwood Springs. I don't trust it in Colorado Springs either, because those are hot spring areas and the water's full of sulfur originally and stuff in some of those regions. I mean, sulfur's not bad for you. It's actually really good for you beneficially wise, but I'll drink my bottled water. Where I live, we actually have well water, so I can drink from the faucet and I'm fine. But here in the city, I'm not drinking. I don't even use it to make coffee. I use bottled water, like the gallons and stuff that I get. So, yeah. What else we got?
So it's from Arthur. Do you have a Blake Stitch machine, and can a Blake Stitch shoe be resold as many times as a Goodyear Welted shoe?
So we do have a Blake Stitch machine. A Blake Stitch shoe cannot be resold as many times as a Goodyear Welted shoe because you're stitching through all the layers of the shoe. The sole, the midsole, if it has it, the welts, if it has it, the welts are technically just there for appearance and as a guide, in other words. And because you're stitching also through the upper, because the upper is tucked underneath, there is a limitation. On average, you can resole a pair of Blake Stitch shoes about 4 or 5 times. That's average. In some cases less if it was done by a cobbler that doesn't do a good job and they do some damage on the interior of it. And if it's done by a good cobbler and you did it in a timely fashion, you can maybe pull off about 6 or 7 times. But a Goodyear Welted shoe, you're stitching to the welt, and so you resole it maybe once or twice, maybe even up to 3 times using the same welt, and then eventually you have to get that welt replaced. And typically through a cobbler, we do hand welting, we stitch it on by hand, and so we aim for the original sole. So there's almost no limitations to Goodyear Welted shoes if the welt is stitched on by hand like us and other cobblers do. You're not going to have issues. If you send it back to the factory like Allen Edmonds Recraft Service, they use a machine to restitch the welt. Unfortunately, a machine you can't control to that degree, no matter how good you are or how fine-tuned the machine is. It's not going to make it into the original holes every single time. So eventually you create new holes in the upper, and eventually it wears down. So I highly recommend paying that extra amount if it's time to replace the welt to an experienced cobbler and have that welt replaced, and they will stitch it in by hand and they will make it through the original holes, and you'll never have issues. And you can literally hand down these shoes generation after generation, which I have seen done by Allen Edmonds shoes, Alden shoes, like 3 or 4 generations handed down, I'm talking. So Goodyear Welted will last longer significantly. Blake Stitch shoes can be resold time and time again, but the time limit is on average about 5 or 6 times, 4 or 5, depending on who's done it and who's got their hands on it.
So I do apologize, we are a little bit behind on the comments. Hot Wax 93, I just read it, said, really, it's more common than I thought. We do apologize, I don't know what that comment was for. But then Ken J, Carbonate and Dark Chocolate, yes. And then Hot Wax 93, also eggs were yegs and onions were ungens.
Wait, eggs are what?
Yegs.
Yegs. Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that one. And onions, yeah.
Onions. And then Ken J,
Onions.
thank you for hanging out. This is nice. Well, thank you for joining us. And then Hot Wax, good. Don't smoke weed. Yeah, I'm not doing that anytime soon.
I'm not
had
gonna
my
dog anyone that
experience.
smokes it.
Yeah.
It's their decision, but our decision.
It's also how the body reacts to it. I mean, the way that I've had it react wasn't the best. I was either very hungry or very sad. It was either one of those two.
Plus the stuff that they're making these days. Oh my God, these guys are going overboard. Oof. Like you could be an all-time stoner. We had a guy working at our shop a few years back. Tony, he moved back to Florida, but lower sea level, he was able to smoke a lot back then.
Yeah.
He came out of Colorado. He's like, dude, I'm smoking like a quarter of what I used to, if not less than that, because this stuff.
Because of the altitude
change, 1, and 2, the new strands of different stuff, from what I understand, is ridiculous. I would not want to try it, basically, as an amateur in that category.
And so, yeah, if you ever come here to Colorado and try anything, like, for a good example is like fighters too. Fighters have to come 2 weeks before their fight here in Colorado so that their body gets used to the altitude change. So it's the same thing with like weed or anything else.
Alcohol affects you very differently. Again, Mile High City here, you're a mile above sea level. If you're not from an area that is above a certain amount of sea level, you're not only gonna get lightheaded from the air alone. In some cases, some people feel that, but in other cases, you're gonna feel other things significantly more. Caffeine's gonna hit you a little bit differently. Alcohol will hit you differently. Controlled substances, even pain medications like Tylenol and ibuprofen and all that kind of stuff, it will affect you differently if you're not acclimated to our altitude.
So, Kenjay, I'd sooner see anyone smoke weed than cigs. Yeah, most likely here in Colorado.
I used to smoke cigarettes. I quit a few years back. If you see this in the background of my videos, I switched to this thing. I'm hoping to eventually quit that as well, but for the time being, it's a fairly addictive substance, I'll be honest. But for those of you who are going to be dogging me like, oh, you use a vape pen, don't those things blow up or aren't those toxic? So first things first, no, they don't blow up because you can see the little screen there. There is a chip in here, so as a safety mechanism. That's first thing. 2, they are not toxic because there are only 4 ingredients in the juices I have. There is propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, flavoring, and nicotine. That's it. The cheap ones that you find at the gas station, those are the ones that you have unknown chemicals in. And I actually have an allergic reaction to them. My tonsils swell up. So before anyone starts dogging me about it, I've done my research. Again, like I said, I get deep into it. I have researched these things like crazy. So I know what I've got, and I'm fine with it. For the time being, eventually I'll quit it.
Yeah, and then Hot Wax replied to Kenjay, I'd sooner see anyone smoke neither. They're both horrible for you. With weed, it depends, I guess, on what specifically a person is.
Well, like our mom, for example, she has multiple sclerosis. Marijuana would help her significantly, but she doesn't react very well to it. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like edible form. She doesn't like the vape form. She doesn't like any form. So it reacts to her funny. Health-wise, I would probably personally rather see somebody smoking pot, especially if it's beneficial for them, if they truly have a certain health condition or something, or even if it's just to relax. To each his own. I'm not going to judge. That's your own thing and stuff. I don't care for it. I personally don't. A number of people I know like it. They smoke it just for fun, just because it relaxes them at the end of the day. Sure, do what you want. Everyone relaxes differently. As long as you're not going overboard with it, with say like alcohol or a number of other stronger things out there.
Yeah. And then Hot Wax, maybe I should bring the topic back to shoes. Yeah, sorry. We enjoyed talking. And then your next comment. It's not as much as you think. So much info on the internet is locked behind paywalls. You're not allowed due to copyright. Most likely because of YouTube. I mean, my channels, they're not, I guess you can say, I don't have advertisements on any of my channels, but because of certain restrictions to YouTube, there is still things I'm not allowed to say or to have on my videos. So that's just kind of YouTube restrictions no matter what. And then, so Jason Chicken. Hey guys, you've probably answered this question before, but how did you get into shoe repair?
So Jason, I'm second generation. I grew up in it. My father still does repairs and stuff. However, we decided to take 2 different paths, so businesses were not affiliated. But I grew up around it. I've worked for other cobbler shops. I've worked for our suppliers that give us that we purchase material from and all that.
I'm gonna go help Mom really fast.
Okay. Yeah. Janelle, I guess, needs to go. Who was it? Jason Chicken?
Chicken. Jason Chicken.
Okay. But yeah, that's how I got into it. I love what I do. It's, to me, enjoyable and stuff like that. It's not just because I got into it and dropped because I'm just second generation in it. But yeah, that's kind of all the history about it. I started going to my dad's shop when I was like, I wasn't even in kindergarten when I started going to my dad's shop on the weekends, like Saturdays and stuff with him. And then eventually I started getting into it with him with cleaning the shop, shoe shining, gluing, putting glue on soles and stuff like that, and eventually just started expanding my knowledge and expertise. And then eventually my dad put me on patchwork with Jenell, which is what Jenell does currently. If you don't know, Jenell's my younger sister, and I did patchwork for a very long time. One of the places I worked for a long time ago, I was their lead patch guy, and any of the crazy jobs that came through was on me, type of thing. Then another place I worked for as well, again to expand my knowledge about it, was I was in charge of the soles and heels and all that kind of stuff. And now I took over my parents' shop in 2013, and 2016 I relocated, dropped our retail and orthopedic side, and now we mainly do shoe repair. We do some orthopedic work like orthopedic lifts, but that's about it. So as to answer your question, my earliest memories from Ken J, my earliest memories as a child was watching a neighbor crawl on his elbows across the yard to the outhouse. I don't have issues with others doing that. They have to get along. Paralyzed waist DN. Okay, don't know, but yeah, that's to each his own. Again, that's not my thing to judge them. I've heard that mountain air is some of the dirtiest and most polluted air out there. Completely the opposite of what you'd expect. I don't know where you heard that from. Not at all. Best way I can put it is mountain air. It's not so much just because of the trees and all that kind of stuff that help clear up the carbon monoxide. It's also due to the altitude as well. A lot of those harsher gases, carbon monoxide and all that kind of stuff, they can't rise up to a certain level. They just can't. Like, there's certain stages where they'll go up to, and then they become weaker and weaker, and up here they don't do so well. We do have the Conoco refinery out here for Conoco gas, and so when you drive through that area, you're going to smell it, and every now and then you'll see some pollution. But give it a day and it kind of clears up fairly quick. Plus Colorado is almost divided right down the middle of plains and mountains, and so we get that perfect funnel of like wind coming through and everything, so it clears up pretty quick. Let's see. What is your opinion on the Corcura 1500 jump boots? They have reasonable quality. Corona. I honestly am not too familiar with that one. Sounds familiar, but I don't remember what that is. I'm sorry, Steve Manser. I used to jump from planes wearing O-trains. Cool. I got to go skydiving a while back, a few years ago. That same year, I got to go scuba diving out here at our Denver aquarium. It was a really cool year for me. Let's see. Do JR soles need sole guard protectors? Not necessarily. So JR soles are, because they are tanned, have a very tight pore structure, so they are not going to absorb moisture or any kind of water or liquids like your typical leathers that are treated with animal fats. However, obviously it is still leather, so it's not as grippy as rubber. So if you add a protective sole, it is strictly for the grip aspect and no additional, some additional protection, not much more, in other words.
Where are we?
Let's see, from Arthur, he was asking about the JR soles and sole guard protectors. Let's see, Olympic mountain air is pure. Wait. I gotta read this closer. Olympic mountain air is pure as it gets today.
Chemtrails.
Messing up everything. We're 40 miles from the store or gas station. This place now getting crowded. I love learning about everything. I love learning about everything as well. That's true. I love learning. I am philosophical by nature. I think I might have that a little bit too. I won't define myself quite yet. I'm not quite there yet to feel comfortable to admit that. I named my dogs Philo and Sophia. Cool. Philo. Reading is not my strong suit.
So Hot Wax, not just YouTube, but ebooks as well. Yeah, that is true.
She's messing with that stuff.
Yeah, I've been trying to be an audio narrator for Audibles. I've emailed them, but unfortunately they haven't gone back to me yet, so I'm just waiting for that from them. So that's why I'm trying to read the comments for Alan and learning how to pronunciate things, which can be very difficult. Please consider an Odyssey channel as well. Watch all your videos, most informative and entertaining. Yeah, well, speaking on Alan's behalf, yeah, he tries to make all his videos more of a learning aspect so that for you guys can learn more from our perspective, because not a lot of people know about the shoe industry. Most people just tend to throw away their shoes after they've noticed that you can't really wear them anymore. And with certain shoes, yeah, you can. Most likely better to do that, because then, like with the cheaper repairs and whatnot, it's trying to find the word. It's really hard to find words these days. But like with cheaper brands, it's just better to just toss them. If not, it's better to get a nice pair of shoes so that they can last you a while. So we do try and educate people about the shoe repair industry so that they know that there's certain things that can be repaired and that you can keep for a much longer time. Steve is 4th generation, I think. Let's see. Steve was 4th generation?
Steve?
Yeah.
Cobbler Steve?
Yeah. Hot
no,
Wax.
2nd generation.
So I guess he's 2nd.
He doesn't like being mentioned too much.
Okay. Tried to keep it rolling.
Alright.
Okay, so Ken J, that was a line from the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I don't know what you guys were talking about while I was gone. So Alan can probably answer that one. It was like the line from the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then Hot Wax, if you buy used designer shoes, should you get them resold, or does it depend on the condition of the original soles?
It depends on the original soles. Like, I've gotten some. So depending on the shoe, like say for a Goodyear Welted shoe, for example, typically they have a cork inlay, like Edmonds, Alden's, some of those vintage Florsheim Imperials. They have a cork inlay, and what happens is if they were heavily worn, and you still want to try to get by for a little while with them before you get them actually resold, that cork is going to be formed to the previous owner. So unless your foot is very similar to their foot, you may feel some odd feelings in there. And if you feel those odd feelings, the only way to get it out is if we remove the sole, replace the cork. But during that resole process, mention that they're new to you, and we'll also, before actually filling it in with cork, we'll flatten out the leather insole in there a little bit and kind of hammer things out to try to get it back into shape first, and then put the new cork in there. Plus, at the end of it, we'll do a UVC light treatment on it, which will kill bacteria and sanitize the shoes for you as well, and also do like a deep wash if need be. But it's not a must to have them resoled. We can definitely do it though.
So Jason Chicken, that's awesome, guys. Your channel is flapping fantastic. Keep the vids rolling.
I appreciate it, Mr. Chicken. I will have to call you that from now on. I love it.
Yeah.
Mr. Chicken. But yeah, I appreciate it. I'm trying to get back on track. I really want to try to get more videos up and running, but a lot of dilemmas, a lot of delays constantly right now. So hopefully soon we'll get it all going and up and running, where we can maybe be posting a video every other day or every couple of days, basically.
Kind of what I've been wanting to do, especially with like, I guess you can say the surroundings, like the things that we talk about and do. It's pretty fun. Again, I lost the word. But we can do videos where, you just see our weekly, what we're working on, what's going on, especially with like the whole door incident that happened. Like that's like one thing that we can update you guys on too if you're interested. Not just shoe repair, but it's something that we can potentially do.
Yeah.
So kind of like a video log type of thing.
That's what I was trying. Like last week, I did that a little bit, and it was supposed to be like 10 or 15 minutes. It turned into an hour. Like right now, it's over 2 hours long that we're live streaming, which is
Yeah.
I don't mind it and stuff, but.
And then Arthur, I should have been more specific. JR Soles and Saphir Soul Guard.
Oh, okay, so Saphir Soul Guard. So you don't need to put Saphir Soul Guard onto the JR Soles. Well, not right away, obviously, not anytime soon, but I would recommend putting it on maybe once a year when you do that kind of like full treatment. We recommend treating your shoes, like stripping any waxes and polishes off and reconditioning it and everything, and then apply a new coat of wax at least once every 6 to 12 months. During that time, I would recommend doing the Saphir Soul Guard because it's got a conditioning aspect to it. It's not so much of a protectant. It does a great job protecting against the water, but it's not going to do much to improve on the JR soles, but it'll help at least condition them, and that's what I would highly recommend to do to help extend the life expectancy of any kind of leather. JR soles is at the top for sure, but after all, at the end of the day, it is still leather, so over a period of time, some chemicals and things like the salts that they put out there during the wintertime, they can cause some damage and damage the leather. It won't do it as much with JR soles. It's a very small chance that it's going to cause any major damage, but it still does some minor damage over an extended period of time. I would recommend the Soul Guard, even with the JR soles, 6 to 12 months on that.
From Jaren, do you guys hope to go to Russia at some point?
I've been there.
He's been there, I haven't. I would like to go there eventually, just to even see where my mom was mainly her childhood. That's kind of one of the reasons why I would want to go there, even though she's like, I'd never want to go back there. But it's still something new. It's, it's her story, it's her childhood, and it's something that I really want to learn. Like even with our grandparents would tell us a lot about their childhood. Especially
had some interesting ones.
Especially after World War II, they have some pretty interesting stories, and to be able to go there and see how everything was, it's something that I want to do. I don't know if he wants to do it.
Obviously,
he's been there.
So short stories, I'll give you guys real quick. So our grandmother, her father, so our great grandfather, passed away in prison because he was a Christian. They put him to prison because of that. He passed away there, and a few months after that, her mother passed away. So my grandmother was the oldest in her family, and the government took her and her 3 younger siblings. It was a younger sister, and then 2 younger brothers who were twins, and they all got split into orphanages and during the war. And during the war, those trains were also transporting military equipment, supplies, and all that kind of stuff, and they were getting bombed left and right, even with children on board. My grandmother, she was put into an orphanage, until she was 17 when she married my grandfather, and she told us some crazy stories, like there was such a shortage of food that whatever they could reach through barbed wire fences is what they ate, so she ended up with permanent damage to her stomach and digestive tract. The reason why I went to Moscow actually was because of a TV show. When she came here to the US, she found her younger sister, and then years later, we're talking about 70 something, almost 80 years later, this TV show found one of the twin brothers, and they called us out, and that's why we flew out there, was to be on this Russian TV show, because they introduced the long lost brother to the two older sisters. They are still looking for the other twin brother, but they don't even know if he's alive and stuff. But that's why I went to Moscow. But some of the stories our grandparents would tell us, I mean, one of my grandfathers on my dad's side, he passed away a few years ago, but we always wondered why he was missing half a thumb. And one day he told me that after the war there was a lot of mines and grenades laying around all over the place, and so teenagers would tinker with them. And he managed to get a grenade, was tinkering with it, and it blew up. Kids were dying left and right from all that left behind, munitions and stuff. Surprisingly, the worst he had, he had other damages, but the worst permanent damage he had was missing half his thumb. So that was an interesting one. My other grandfather, he told me about how when he was in the military, he used to ride a moped from the base, from one base area to another area, and this kid one day ran out and chucked a bottle under his moped, and my grandpa fell, and he's like, stupid kid, he ran off and everything. The next day, however, they were relocating tanks. Same kid comes running out, throws something under the tank, it turns out to be a bomb. My grandfather was a test run, basically. So some of the interesting stories that our grandparents told us, wow. But yeah, it was interesting going out to Moscow. It was very interesting. I think I was out there for like 2 weeks. That was like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
More than 10 years ago now. So.
Yeah, it was a while, but it's something that I would enjoy going to and seeing like where our family has come from. I mean, they've come like a very long way. I mean, coming from Russia all the way here to America, and getting into a situation where it's like they don't know much, and so from where they came from to where they are now, it's completely different. And if you look into those kinds of stories, it's amazing, it's surreal, and it's the life that we have now, not a lot of people tend to cherish versus as what people before us had to go through. And so
yeah, all of our great grandfathers, at least 2 of which we know of, died in prison because they were Christians and stuff. So that was the thing. I be dad too. Thank you for the love. Hot Wax 93, Russia, moose and squirrels. No, we're known for bears and
bears, yeah.
Russian reindeer skin hides. Mm-hmm. One of the rarest skins you can find, and it's very interesting. The original Russian reindeer was being transported to a czar. The ship had, there are now restrictions on current Russian reindeer to be able to use their skins, but this company, and I believe Goodyear Girling is one of the companies that has access to Russian reindeer hides, but these Russian reindeer hides are at the bottom of a sea. So only one guy has permission with, I think it was his brother or cousin or something like that. They're allowed by the government to go scuba diving, retrieve a certain amount of these abandoned skins and hides of Russian reindeer and retrieve it, and then sell it with a profit going to the Russian government as well. So this Russian reindeer is got a history to it. If you ever get a pair of shoes of Russian reindeer skin, the original real Russian reindeer, that is going to be extremely expensive, extremely unique, and just if you're a shoe collector, a shoe enthusiast, if you know about shoes, you're gonna be sitting there just drooling.
So they are still undetermined undetonated bombs from World War.
Undetonated bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there still are. They're still
Yeah.
finding a number of munitions and stuff, rockets and all sorts of stuff, mines, from all over the world. I mean, even from the Civil War, they're still finding stuff out here in North America, in the U.S. mainly, of munitions. Like, there are guys that they go out metal detectors on private land and stuff, and they find all sorts of crazy stuff. It's cool.
So, Hot Wax, hence why Bernie Sanders and AOC are so popular. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
We're not going to get into politics on here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Also, because of YouTube.
They have certain restrictions.
Very, especially with nowadays YouTube, you say one thing off, right? You're gone, like, type of stuff. So.
Rocky and Bullwinkle reference. You got to remember, I'm 29. She's younger. Rocky and Bullwinkle was right before me, technically, as far as popularity goes. So, yeah.
And then Ken J, there's something missing from my life today. The cobbler, the butcher, the blacksmith, the candlestick maker.
Candlestick maker, that's a new one on me. So,
That'd be interesting to get into, actually.
Butcher, I love meats.
But, like,
blacksmith would probably, if I wasn't a cobbler, I'd probably be a blacksmith. I'd love to do that. But candlestick maker, that's a new one on me, I'll be honest.
So, Hot Wax, there's a custom cowboy boot maker in Texas who has some of the Russian reindeer hide. It's originally from the 1700s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And yeah, I think that was a bootmaker, but he was, I mean, we're looking at a pair of boots, I think probably like, what, 4,000 or 5,000? I wouldn't be surprised, at least starting price. I think shoes are about that much, so if it's a Western boot especially, more material and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those get over 10,000, honestly. Yes, I heard the ship sank in the 1770s. Yeah. My memory's not that great, so I won't be able to recall the exact time period and stuff. You have a great channel, very informative. Thanks. Thank you, Jaron.
So, Ken J, when I got to sorry, I can't pronounce. Yeah. There was a group of folks here that called themselves the Breakfast Club. They were craftspeople, one baked in a brick oven, one built boats, one sculpted in steel.
Interesting.
Wow.
Very interesting.
And then,
my favorite shoe.
yeah.
If it's a shoe that I own, I'd have to say my Florsheim Imperials. It's a common style, but I can't remember the style number. But it's the lighter colored. It's like a light brown, like chestnutty color almost. That's my favorite shoe. My favorite all-time shoe, I can't pick one out just because, again, categories. Is it my everyday wear shoe? Is it my dress-up shoe? Is it my work shoe? Is it my outdoor crappy weather and stuff? I have a number of favorite ones. I have a pair of Louis Vuitton, like LV boots that are awesome, but I won't be able to wear those every day. I have 2 pairs of Florsheim Imperials. I have a couple pairs of Allen Edmonds. I have my Carmina Shell Cordovans. I got my Johnson Murphy XC4 models. I got like 3 or 4 pairs of them because we used to sell them at our old location. Each shoe has its place and favoritism, I guess you can say. So I won't be able to say which one is my favorite of all time ever.
Yeah. Ken J, haberdashers and cobblers were everything back in the day. I actually saw a photo, I don't remember what year it was, but it was like the smallest cobbler shop, and it was this building that had a little window, so the cobbler actually had to crawl into the shop in order to work. I showed you the photo, and so the photo was the guy standing in his shop, so it was like about chest height. So imagine having a cobbler trying to crawl into shop every morning. And so it's very interesting because of how people knew about cobblers so much versus now where it's like most people, even customers almost every day that we have come in, where they're like, oh, we didn't know cobblers were a thing anymore. And
yeah, cobbler, the definition of cobbler has changed through the years technically. A cobbler originally was somebody that made shoes. Now it refers to, because it was cobbler, shoe repairman, now it is split into shoe repairman is technically a cobbler. A shoemaker is its own category now. They kind of separated that way. I don't remember when it did. I think it was like in the mid-1900s and stuff. That's when it happened. Because Ken J mentioned cobblers built shoes from scratch back when. Yeah, so that was the case. Fun side note. Did you know, Jenell, that cobblers, shoe repairmen, I guess you could say, are the oldest recyclers ever?
oh yeah,
Did you know that?
I can imagine that
We
too.
were the original shoe repairmen, now known as cobblers, are the
Well, it's like,
oldest
so you
recyclers
have
there
people
ever.
who like recycle, for example, and like not a lot of people.
There's metal, plastic recycling,
Yeah,
glass recycling, but
that is more common than cobblers because with cobblers, like we have been recycling shoes for a while, and so it's kind of, I don't even know how to put it, to where, you know, people recycle plastic, they recycle all these other things where it's like they don't realize we can also recycle shoes. Like we have a pair of exotic Western boots at the shop at the moment where, you know, the person didn't want to do a certain repair, so we actually ended up keeping it, and we're taking them apart in order to make watch bands. And so it's like we can recycle that in a way to where we can still use that leather for other things, to make custom things, to change it up, and yeah. So we've been recycling for a while.
I love this one from Hot Wax 93. There's a cobbler shop in my town, a hometown, that used to be a meat market. That meat market moved across the street, and whenever I go there, I love the smell of sausage when I first walk in.
Oh my god.
That would be, if you're
Yeah.
a cobbler shop and it smells like sausage, that,
I'd be hungry 24/7 or every time I go into the cobbler shop. Knowing myself and him knowing me, as soon as it hits like 12:30 or 1 o'clock, I stop what I'm doing and I'm like, food, like give me food, I need food. So to have that by you, I'd probably be eating a lot and I'd look like him.
what? What? The government destroys the families to condition them to. We can't get into political talks, but YouTube restrictions as well causes a lot of problems. We'll leave it at that. We talk sometimes politics at the shop, but in a joking manner.
So then there's the hot wax. I call them all cobblers, and you still hear the word cobbler to refer to people who make new shoes from time to time. Well, I have people that would ask me like what I do. So I have my other job that I go to, and then I work here, and so I enjoy their reaction to when I tell them I am a cobbler or I'm a patch girl, and they at first they assume like cobbler as in the dessert, and I'm like nope. And so you kind of have to get into the detail of explaining it to them as to what you meant, and so it's more of their reaction I enjoy seeing.
Hot Wax 93 said not only is that shoe leather reusable technically, but leather is also biodegradable. Yes, that's a very
Yes.
good point, because if you might be saving a lot of money on getting synthetic shoes, but they are not biodegradable to that kind of extent as leather is. You could literally, the dust that we have in our shoe, in our sanders, is actually extremely, it's extremely friendly to growing plants. And some cobblers actually sell their shoe dust to local gardening clubs and stuff like that because it's very usable. Even the rubbers too, they're a little bit more on the natural side, like say from Vibram soles, and even that fine dust coming from it is very beneficial to growing crops, produce, and other things too.
Well, there's also I've read somewhere where there's a thing where they're trying to make leather out of cactus. That is something that we don't have, but I would want to see how the texture is and how it is.
Durability,
just to look at it.
They tested it durability-wise, so it's probably going to be a little bit more biodegradable friendly. So if you're big into that, the cactus leather that they're talking about bringing out is great, but longevity of it, you're going to be spending more money on it long-term wise. It's going to wear out too quickly, and I'll stick to original leather. It's a lot more beneficial to the environment in general. There are still minerals that are very usable in leather even after being treated for the environment that will actually help plants even grow and get nutrition.
And then, so it's not Hot Wax said, not the Cobbler's shop. That's where it used to be. It's now in the building across the street.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about the meat market or butcher shop? Yeah. Once you got the state being your...
Once you got the state being your nanny, you won't think for yourself again.
I'll agree to that, but I'll leave it at that. It moved before I was born. I see, okay. Vegans love to go on about how tanning is bad for the environment, but if you do it right, it's not that bad, and tanning isn't anywhere near as bad as synthetic leather. Yeah, that's very true.
Also, it's not like they're doing it on the animal like itself. It's more of like have
the tanning of the leather itself is technically not a clean thing. In other words. But again, that's when you start getting into the cheaper leathers. When you start getting into cheap leathers, for example, like the corrected grade leather, that's when you start introducing chrome tanned leather, which chromium is what it's called, is kind of harmful for the environment. So yes, that's true. But if you're sticking to something of a higher grade and quality, like a full grain leather, usually those higher grade leathers require and demand higher quality dyes. They demand higher quality tannages, what are they called? Tannins, whatever it's called, which are actually a lot better on the environment when they're being disposed of, because those tannages or whatever they're called are safer to use and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he said, me too, vegans can get stuffed. I actually have a funny story about a person I know who is vegan. I had him message me. I actually train with him, so I do kickboxing as well, and so I train with him, and he ends up asking me what I do, and so I told him I was a cobbler, and he didn't know what that was, so of course, as I have to, per usual, explain what being a cobbler is. I told him I work with leather, and off the bat, he just stopped messaging me. So, vegans, they're something else. For sure. And then Kendra, love the state like your father and mother. This is the only way they can maintain their power over us.
I know tanners were considered unclean in Bible times, even when they worked with hides from kosher animals. Yeah, it was considered unclean. Hey, vegetarians, my food poops on your food. My food eats your food. Hey, I'll eat my
food. Yeah, well, my food eats your food, but then it poops on your food too.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, everybody that's joined us this evening, we've been going at this for over 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd expect us to go at least an hour.
We've been going at it for a while, so I think I got to get going home. I got a 45-minute drive home still. It's getting kind of late. So we do have to kind of wrap this up. We appreciate everybody that has joined us. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
This was fun. I mean, like, interacting with you guys and, like, actually getting into not only talking about, like, the cobbler, like, the shoe repair aspect, but kind of telling you about our backgrounds and other interests that we have. I mean, we don't do this 24/7. If we did, we'd probably, I don't know, be gone.
Yeah. But we'll try to do this more frequently. I think sometime soon, hopefully, we'll be able to do one of these live streams with Marcus as well. I know some of you have questions for him. Maybe we can try to get Jason in on some of this too. Hopefully we get back into it sometime soon. I mean, I'll try to do a live stream once a week. I'll try to do an announcement as well, at least a couple of hours in advance. And if it works out, again, this week, all week I tried doing it, but with all the stuff that happened, like with the door getting smashed in at our shop and the back and everything, it was a lot going on. But for the time being, we appreciate everybody that has joined us. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, because apparently YouTube has these algorithms that, when we get thumbs up on all the videos or whatever, it helps our channel grow and everything. And again, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
So,
like I said, it's more of like interacting with you guys that,
thankfully
we're not doing the videos just to get the views and everything. Like, we want to educate people with it, and get to know you guys as well.
The live streams for me are fun because obviously, if you've watched my videos, I'm a blabbermouth, and I'm enjoying blabbering away for over 2.5 hours now.
Oh, we can probably go at this all night.
Oh my god! If you joined us at our shop for a day, depending on the type of person you are, you would either just be
your brain would either explode, or
you would chime in and be like, I can't believe you guys
are like this. It's just, again, the YouTube stuff, certain things we can't say.
Yeah. So but otherwise, if we can mention it, we'll mention it. Otherwise, we gotta watch ourselves, not get too political, not mention bad words. We can't mention certain types of people. Mentioning large companies is a tricky thing, from what I understand. I don't know enough about it, but
it can also be a little bit difficult with that.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. I hope everyone's had an amazing evening. Hope you enjoyed the time. We had, right now, we've got 19 people on and off. Hopefully we start getting more people as well that'll join us too. And like I said, maybe we'll bring in Marcus sometime soon when he can. Jason. We'll see how it evolves into these live streams and stuff like that. The YouTube channel videos that I'm posting with the recrafts and Soul Talk Sundays, I'm trying to get back into the flow and on track of it. But we'll see how it goes. So thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, weekend. If you're overseas somewhere, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I know there are some people from all over the world.
And we will be most likely watching it after we're done live streaming as well.
Yeah, and if you're watching it later, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you next time.